August 15th, 1977, 10:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jerry Ehman, a volunteer astronomer at Ohio State University, is at home, probably doing what people did in 1977, watching Happy Days, listening to disco, definitely not checking Twitter because it didn't exist. Meanwhile, 22 miles away, in a field near Delaware, Ohio, a radio telescope the size of 3 football fields is doing what it's done every night for years, listening to the universe, recording cosmic static, hearing nothing but the electromagnetic equivalent of white noise. Then, at exactly 10:16 p.m., something happens that will haunt astronomy for the next 47 years. The telescope detects a signal. Not cosmic noise, not a pulsar, not a satellite. A narrow-band radio signal at exactly 1420 megahertz, the hydrogen line, the universal frequency that every intelligent civilization would know. The cosmic, hello, is anyone there, frequency. The signal lasts 72 seconds, exactly as long as the Big Ear telescope could observe any fixed point in space as Earth rotates. It rises and falls in intensity exactly as it should if it's coming from deep space. It's 30 times stronger than the background noise. 3 days later, Jerry Ehman is reviewing the data. He sees the signal represented on the printout, 6EQJU5, a string of characters that made his blood run cold. He grabs a red pen and writes 3 letters that would become legendary in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Wow! For 72 seconds, something or someone in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius broadcast a signal that every SETI scientist had been hoping to find, a signal that screamed artificial, a signal that matched every prediction of what an alien transmission would look like. Then it stopped, and it never repeated. For 47 years, we've aimed every available radio telescope at that exact spot in space. We've listened for months, years, decades. We've analyzed those 72 seconds with technology Jerry Ehman couldn't have dreamed of. And we've heard nothing. The WOW signal is either humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, the universe's greatest prank, or a one-time cosmic accident we'll never understand, or something far stranger. Tonight, we're going to try to spend hours dissecting 72 seconds that changed everything and explained nothing. A message without words, a sender without identity, a cosmic ghost story that's completely, terrifyingly real. Was the WOW signal a lighthouse beacon from a distant civilization? A death cry from a dying world? Or did we hear something that was never meant for us? Welcome to the most important 72 seconds in human history that nobody talks about.
All right, my cosmically curious friends, tinfoil hat enthusiasts, and people who accidentally clicked this thinking it was about Owen Wilson, welcome to long minutes of obsessing over 72 seconds that happened when Star Wars was still new and nobody knew who shot JR. Before we dive into the cosmic detective story that's been giving astronomers anxiety attacks since 1977, let me tell you exactly what we're dealing with. Because the WOW signal isn't just another weird space noise. It's the weird space noise, the white whale of SETI, the perfect storm of this shouldn't exist, but it does. What exactly was detected? On that August night in 1977, the Big Ear radio telescope detected a narrow-band radio signal that did something no natural cosmic source had ever done. It looked exactly like what we expected an alien transmission to look like. The raw data, frequency 1420.4556 megahertz, give or take 10 kilohertz, duration 72 seconds, the exact window Big Ear could observe any fixed celestial point. Intensity 30 times the background noise. Bandwidth less than 10 kilohertz, impossibly narrow for natural phenomena. Pattern perfect rise and fall matching Earth's rotation. Let me put this in perspective. Space is noisy, really noisy. Stars scream in radio waves. Pulsars blast electromagnetic radiation. Black holes shriek as they eat matter. But all of that noise is broad spectrum, like cosmic white noise. The wow signal was a laser-focused whistle in a hurricane of static. The signal appeared at 1420 megahertz. That's not random. That's the hydrogen line, the frequency emitted by neutral hydrogen atoms, the most abundant element in the universe. It's the one frequency every intelligent species would know. It's the cosmic equivalent of middle C, the universal pitch standard. What a coincidence! The one frequency aliens would logically use for first contact is exactly where we found an inexplicable signal. I'm sure it's nothing. Probably swamp gas reflecting off Venus or whatever. Why it matters more than any other signal. Since 1960, we've been listening for aliens. That's 64 years of pointing radio telescopes at the sky, hoping to hear something that says, "Hey, you're not alone." In those 6 decades, we've detected millions of signals, billions if you count everything. Every other signal either repeated, pulsars, quasars, natural phenomena, was traced to Earth-based sources, satellites, microwaves. That embarrassing oven incident was broad spectrum, natural, didn't match predicted alien characteristics, or was explicable by known physics. The wow signal, never repeated, not once in 47 years. Definitely not Earth-based. Direction and characteristics rule it out. Narrowband, artificial looking, matched all predicted alien characteristics, and defies conventional explanation. This is the only signal in the history of SETI that checks every single box for probably aliens and has survived 47 years of desperate attempts to explain it away. It's the astronomical equivalent of finding a single perfect footprint in your house while you were gone with no explanation for how it got there. Think about that. Billions of hours of observations, millions of dollars spent, thousands of false alarms, and exactly one signal that still can't be explained. Either we got impossibly lucky, impossibly unlucky, or impossibly contacted. The perfect storm of characteristics. Here's why the wow signal broke astronomers' brains. It wasn't just weird, it was perfectly weird, suspiciously, impossibly, beautifully weird. Characteristic number 1, the frequency. 1420 megahertz isn't just the hydrogen line. It's in the water hole, the quiet region of the electromagnetic spectrum between hydrogen, H, and OH emissions. H plus OH equals H2O, water, the foundation of life as we know it. So aliens chose to broadcast at the frequency that combines to spell water, the universal requirement for life? How poetic, how convenient, how impossible to be coincidence, unless it is, in which case the universe has a sick sense of humor. Characteristic number 2, the power. The signal was 30 times stronger than the background noise. That's not subtle. That's not a whisper. That's someone shouting in a library. To produce that signal strength from even the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, 4.24 light-years away, you'd need a transmitter using about 2.2 gigawatts. That's more power than most nuclear reactors produce. And that's if it's from the nearest star. If it's from further away, say 200 light-years, we're talking about the power output of a small country being focused into a narrow beam pointed directly at Earth. Characteristic number 3, the duration. 72 seconds. Not 71, not 73. Exactly 72. Why? Because that's precisely how long the Big Ear telescope could observe any fixed celestial point as Earth rotated. The signal appeared exactly when it entered the telescope's beam and disappeared exactly when it left. This means the source wasn't moving relative to the stars. It wasn't a satellite whizzing by, it wasn't an aircraft. It wasn't anything in our solar system. It was locked in position among the stars, broadcasting from deep space. Characteristic number 4, the bell curve. As Earth rotated, the signal strength rose and fell in a perfect bell curve, exactly what you would expect from a distant fixed source passing through the telescope's beam. It peaked at the center and faded symmetrically on both sides. This isn't just important, it's definitive. Earth-based signals don't do this. Satellites don't do this. Only signals from celestial sources create this pattern. The WOW signal acted exactly like it was coming from a star. Why scientists lost their minds? Imagine you're a SETI scientist in 1977. You've been ridiculed for years for suggesting we should listen for aliens. Congress thinks you're wasting money. Carl Sagan is out there trying to make your work seem legitimate, while everyone else treats you like you're hunting Bigfoot. Then Jerry Ehman finds this. A signal that's at the exact frequency you predicted aliens would use is narrowband like a transmission coming from deep space, following all the rules of celestial mechanics, powerful enough to be deliberate, and absolutely, completely inexplicable. No pressure, but you might have just found evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence, or you made an embarrassing mistake that will destroy your career. One of those. Good luck figuring out which. The immediate response was controlled panic. Not public panic, they kept this quiet at first, but in the small SETI community, it was like someone had found the Holy Grail in their backyard and didn't know if it was real or a movie prop. Big Ear's director immediately started checking everything. Was the equipment functioning properly? Yes. Could it be interference? No. Could it be a satellite? Definitely not. Could it be a hoax? How? Ehman ran to the telescope to try to find it again. But here's the cruel joke. Big Ear couldn't track objects. It relied on Earth's rotation to scan the sky. By the time they knew about the signal, that part of space had rotated out of view. It's like taking a photograph of Bigfoot, but your camera can only take one picture per day, and Bigfoot's already left. You can come back tomorrow, but Bigfoot's gone, forever, and everyone thinks you're crazy. Setting up the mystery. Here's where the mystery gets its hooks in you. The WOW signal came from one of two small regions in the constellation Sagittarius. We know exactly where to look. We just don't see anything there. The coordinates. Right ascension, 19 hours, 25 minutes, 31 seconds, or 19 hours, 28 minutes, 22 seconds. Declination, negative 26 degrees, 57. Direction, toward the center of our galaxy, but not from it. Visible objects? None that could produce this signal. There are no bright stars there, no known pulsars, no quasars, no anything that should be broadcasting at 1420 megahertz. It's like getting a phone call from an empty lot. For 47 years, we've pointed every available radio telescope at those coordinates. We've listened for months at a time. We've used technology 1,000,000 times more sensitive than Big Ear. We've heard absolutely nothing, which leaves us with deeply uncomfortable questions. If it was natural, why haven't we seen it again? What natural phenomenon occurs once and never repeats? How did it randomly happen at the exact frequency we were looking for? If it was artificial, was it aimed at us specifically? Was it a one-time broadcast? Did we miss our chance to respond? Are they still waiting for an answer? Did something happen to them? The WOW signal is the cosmic equivalent of someone knocking once on your door at 3 a.m., but when you open it, no one's there. There are no footprints. The security cameras show nothing, but you know you heard it. Your whole family heard it. You have a recording of it, but it never happens again. So for 47 years, we've been the civilization that heard something in the night. One knock, one signal, 72 seconds of something. And we've been wondering ever since. Was it meant for us? Was it an accident?
Was it a beacon? A warning? A dying breath? Or just the universe's way of reminding us that we don't understand nearly as much as we think we do? Jerry Ehman wrote "Wow" because he didn't know what else to write. He couldn't write aliens because that's not scientific. He couldn't write interference because it wasn't. He couldn't write natural because it didn't look natural. So he wrote the only thing that made sense: an expression of pure, overwhelming astonishment at something that shouldn't exist, but does. And now, 47 years later, we still don't have a better word for it.
To understand what happened on August 15, 1977, we need to set the scene. And I mean really set the scene, because the universe chose to possibly make first contact during the most mundane, unglamorous, absolutely ordinary circumstances imaginable. The world in August 1977. It's 1977. Jimmy Carter is president, Star Wars just came out 3 months ago and everyone's pretending lightsabers are real. Elvis Presley has 2 days left to live, though nobody knows it yet. The Commodore PET just launched, a personal computer with 4 kilobytes of RAM that costs $795, or about $4,000 in today's money for less computing power than your doorbell. The Cold War is in full swing. Scientists are using radio telescopes to listen for Soviet satellites as much as alien signals. The space race has cooled down. We haven't been to the moon in 5 years and won't go back. The Voyager probes are about to launch, carrying golden records into space like cosmic mixtapes nobody asked for. This is the technological and cultural peak that the universe chose for potentially the most important moment in human history. Not during the Renaissance, not during the digital age, during the disco era. If aliens did contact us, they did it while we were wearing bell-bottoms and thinking fondue parties were sophisticated. The Big Ear Telescope, the unlikely hero. Now let's talk about the Big Ear Radio Observatory, because understanding this bizarre telescope is crucial to understanding why the WOW signal is so mysterious. Big Ear wasn't your typical radio telescope. It wasn't a giant dish like Arecibo. It was what's called a Krauss-type radio telescope, and it was weird even by 1970 standards. The specs. Size: 103 meters by 33 meters, or 340 feet by 110 feet. Roughly 3 football fields of collecting area. Fixed in place, couldn't move or track objects, relied entirely on Earth's rotation to scan the sky. Cost to build? $250,000, about $2 million today. Operating budget? Basically nothing. Big Ear worked like this. Radio waves from space would hit a tilting flat reflector, bounce to a fixed parabolic reflector, then focus onto 2 feed horns, basically 2 radio receivers. As Earth rotated, different parts of the sky would drift through its field of view. It was like using a security camera that can't move. You just wait for interesting things to pass by. The telescope had 2 feed horns, which meant every cosmic source would be detected twice, once by the first horn, then 3 minutes later by the second horn as Earth rotated. This redundancy was supposed to confirm real signals. Except the WOW signal only appeared in one horn. Not both, just one, which should be impossible for a celestial source, but we'll get to that nightmare later. The detailed timeline of detection. August 15th, 1977, 10:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Big Ear telescope is doing what it's done every night for years, methodically scanning the sky, recording radio emissions on a primitive IBM 1130 computer that prints results on continuous feed paper. Nobody's watching. It's automated. The telescope is alone in a field, listening to space. 10:16:01 p.m. The eastern feed horn detects nothing unusual. Background cosmic static at 1420 MHz. Intensity levels 1 to 2 on the arbitrary scale they use. 10:16:14 p.m. Signal intensity suddenly jumps to 6. That's unusual, but not unprecedented. 10:16:27 p.m. Signal intensity hits E, which represents 14 to 15 on their scale. Now this is weird. 10:16:40 p.m. Signal peaks at U, the letter U. They ran out of single digits, so they used letters. U represents 30 to 31 times the background noise. The computer, with all the emotion of a 1970s IBM machine, dutifully prints out 6EQUJ5. 10:16:53 p.m. Signal dropping to J, 19 to 20 intensity. 10:17:06 p.m. Signal fading to 5. 10:17:13 p.m. Back to background noise. Total duration, 72 seconds. For 72 seconds, something 30 times louder than the cosmic background screamed at Earth from deep space, and nobody noticed. The computer printed it out and kept going. The telescope kept scanning. The universe kept spinning. 10:19 p.m. Earth's rotation brings the same patch of sky into the western feed horn's view. This horn should detect the same signal. It detects nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is like lightning striking once and the thunder never coming. It's physically wrong. Both horns look at the same sky, just 3 minutes apart. Any celestial source should appear in both. The wow signal appeared in one and vanished completely. Jerry Ehman's discovery moment. August 18th, 3 days later. Jerry was at home in Columbus, Ohio. He's a volunteer at Big Ear, unpaid, doing this for the love of science and the faint hope of finding something interesting. He's got a stack of printouts to review, which is about as exciting as reading spreadsheets of random numbers, which is exactly what it is. Picture this. Jerry's probably at his kitchen table. It's summer in Ohio, hot, humid, probably has a fan going. He's drinking coffee that's gone cold. He's been looking at these printouts for hours. It's mind-numbing work. Line after line of 1s and 2s with occasional 3s. Cosmic background noise quantified into the world's most boring reading material. Then he sees it. 6EQUJ5. Jerry later said his first thought was that it had to be a mistake. The computer glitched. The printer messed up, something. Because signals don't do this. They don't just appear at 30 times the background strength at exactly the hydrogen line frequency. But the more he looked at it, the more perfect it was. The gradual rise, 6 to E, the peak, U, the gradual fall, J to 5. That's exactly what a distant point source should do as it passes through Big Ear's beam. It's textbook. It's perfect. It's impossible. Jerry grabs a red pen. He circles the sequence. And then, in a moment that would become legendary in astronomy, he writes 3 letters in the margin. Wow. Later, Jerry would say he wrote wow because he didn't know what else to write. He couldn't write ET, that's not scientific. He couldn't write error, it wasn't one. He couldn't write interference, it didn't match any interference pattern. So he wrote an exclamation, a purely human response to something utterly inhuman. The immediate aftermath. August 19th to 20th, 1977. Jerry immediately calls Bob Dixon, who basically runs the Big Ear's SETI program. The conversation probably went something like, "Bob, you need to see this." "See what?" "I found something." "What kind of something?" "The kind of something we've been looking for." Very scientific, very professional. Definitely not 2 guys freaking out about possibly finding aliens. Dixon rushes to look at the data. Then he calls John Krause, who designed and built Big Ear. Within 24 hours, every astronomer involved with the project is huddled around this printout, doing calculations, checking equipment logs, trying to figure out what the hell happened on August 15th. The immediate checks. Was the equipment functioning? Yes, perfectly. Were there any aircraft in the area? No. Any satellites passing over? None that broadcast at 1420 megahertz. Any military operations? Classified, but probably no. Any other observatories detect it? None were looking. Narrator, they immediately try to detect it again, but here's the cruel joke. Big Ear can only look at that specific spot in the sky once every 24 hours. It's like trying to photograph lightning in the same place. You have to wait and hope. August 19th, nothing. August 20th, nothing. August 22nd, nothing. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months. They keep looking at the same spot, at the same time, with the same equipment. Nothing. Why they couldn't track it in real time? Here's the tragedy of the wow signal. Even if someone had been watching the computer printout in real time, screaming, "We found aliens" at 10:16 p.m., it wouldn't have mattered. Big Ear couldn't track the signal. It was architecturally impossible. The fundamental problems. Problem 1. Fixed position.
Big Ear was bolted to the ground. It couldn't move. It couldn't follow objects across the sky. It was like a security camera that can't pan or tilt. It just stares at one spot and waits for interesting things to pass by. Problem 2, Earth's rotation. The telescope relied entirely on Earth's rotation to scan the sky. Any given point in space was only visible for 72 seconds once per day. That's it. 72 seconds of observation, then 23 hours and 58.5 minutes of waiting. Imagine if your eyes could only look at any given object for 72 seconds per day and you couldn't choose when. That's how Big Ear saw the universe. It's amazing it found anything at all. Problem 3, no real-time analysis. The IBM 1130 computer just recorded data and printed it. It couldn't alert anyone. It couldn't analyze patterns in real time. It was basically a cosmic secretary taking notes it didn't understand. Problem 4, the 3-minute gap. Remember how the signal only appeared in one feed horn? The second horn, looking at the exact same spot 3 minutes later, saw nothing. This means either the signal lasted less than 3 minutes total, the source moved, but it showed a fixed source pattern, something blocked the second horn. No evidence of this. Physics broke. Uncomfortable option. So, to summarize, a telescope that can't move detected a signal it couldn't follow from a source that vanished in less than 3 minutes and nobody noticed for 3 days. If aliens were trying to contact us, they picked the worst possible moment. It's like calling someone's landline in 1977 when they're not home and there's no answering machine. The phone just rings into the void. The growing realization. As days turned into weeks with no redetection, a horrible realization began to dawn on the Big Ear team. They might have just missed humanity's only chance at contact. Think about it from the alien perspective, assuming it was aliens. You broadcast a signal to Earth. You aim it precisely at this small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. You pump massive amounts of power into the transmission. Remember, this would take gigawatts of power, even from the nearest star. And Earth's response? Nothing. Silence. We didn't even notice for 3 days. If aliens were waiting for a response, they probably think we're either dead, stupid, or incredibly rude. We called Earth, but nobody picked up. Guess there's no intelligent life there after all. The team at Big Ear started a frantic letter-writing campaign. This is 1977, remember, no email. Please, look at these coordinates. We found something incredible. No, we're not crazy. Yes, we checked for interference. Please, just look. The response from other observatories? Most were skeptical. Some thought it was embarrassing. A few agreed to look. None found anything. Big Ear's reputation took a hit. By the end of August 1977, the reality had set in. They had detected something extraordinary. Something that matched every prediction of what an alien signal should look like. Something that couldn't be explained by any known natural or artificial Earth-based source. And it was gone. Completely, utterly gone. They would keep looking, for months, then years, then decades. The same coordinates, the same frequency, better equipment, more sensitive detectors, hundreds of hours of observation time. But the universe had gone silent. Whatever spoke on August 15, 1977, for exactly 72 seconds, has never spoken again, at least not in a way we could hear. Jerry Ehman would later say that writing "Wow" was both the best and worst thing he ever did. Best because it perfectly captured the moment of discovery. Worst because it would define the rest of his life. He became the "wow signal guy." The man who might have found aliens but couldn't prove it. Imagine carrying that weight. You might be the only human being in history to have detected an alien signal. Or you might have just found a weird cosmic burp that means nothing. And you'll probably die never knowing which. That's the curse of the wow signal. It's not just a mystery. It's a mystery that chose specific people to haunt. Jerry Ehman, Bob Dixon, John Krause. They heard something in the dark, one whisper, one possible hello from the cosmos. And then, nothing but silence and the question that would define the rest of their lives: what did we hear?
All right, let's get nerdy. And I mean really nerdy. We're about to spend 15 minutes dissecting 72 seconds of radio waves, like it's the Zapruder film of astronomy. Because hidden in those 6 characters, 6EQJ5 is either evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence or the universe's most elaborate prank. The 6EQJ5 code explained. Narrator: first, let's decode what 6EQJ5 actually means. It's not an alien word, it's not a secret message, it's just how a 1970s computer represented signal intensity when it ran out of single digits, because apparently nobody at Big Ear expected to detect anything louder than a 9. The Big Ear intensity scale. Blank space equals 0 to 1, basically nothing. Numbers 1 to 9, exactly what you'd think, 1 to 9 units of intensity. Letters A to Z, 10 to 35, because who needs double digits? So 6EQJ5 translates to 6 equals 6 units of intensity, E equals 14 units, Q 26 units, U 30 units, the peak, J 19 units, 5 7 units. Yes, they used letters for numbers. The same civilization that sent humans to the moon decided that U was a perfectly reasonable way to represent 30. This is why aliens don't talk to us. But here's where it gets interesting. Look at that progression. 6, 14, 26, 30, 19, 5. It rises gradually, peaks, then falls. That's not random, that's a pattern. That's a bell curve. That's exactly what should happen when a fixed celestial source passes through a radio telescope's beam. Narrator: each character represents 12 seconds of observation. So, first 12 seconds, signal rising, 6. Next 12 seconds, getting stronger, E equals 14. Next 12 seconds, approaching peak, Q equals 26. Next 12 seconds, maximum intensity, U equals 30. Next 12 seconds, starting to fade, J equals 19. Final 12 seconds, almost gone, 5. It's perfect. Too perfect. Suspiciously perfect. Why 1420 megahertz is the cosmic hello frequency. Now let's talk about why finding this signal at 1420 megahertz made astronomers lose their collective minds. This isn't just any frequency, it's the frequency. The one that every astronomy textbook says intelligent civilizations would use for interstellar communication. The hydrogen line. 1420.405717768 megahertz, yes, we know it to that precision, is the frequency emitted when a hydrogen atom electron flips its spin. It's the universe's most common radio emission because hydrogen is the universe's most common element. Hydrogen makes up 75% of all normal matter in the universe. Every star is mostly hydrogen, every gas cloud is mostly hydrogen, the space between stars has hydrogen, it's everywhere, and it all hums at 1420 megahertz. It's like the universe has a default ringtone, and it's 1420 megahertz. The water hole concept. Here's where it gets poetic. And by poetic, I mean scientists trying to be clever and accidentally being right. Hydrogen, H, emits at 1420 megahertz. Hydroxyl, OH, emits at 1662 megahertz. Between them is a quiet zone, 1420 to 1662 megahertz. H plus OH equals H2O, water. This range is called the water hole. Just like animals gather at water holes to drink, the theory goes that intelligent civilizations would gather at this electromagnetic water hole to communicate. It's quiet, it's universal, and it's poetically connected to water, the foundation of life as we know it. The idea was proposed in 1959 by Giuseppe Cocconi and Philip Morrison in the paper that basically invented SETI. They said, and I'm paraphrasing here, if aliens want to talk to us, they'll use the hydrogen line because we're not completely stupid and neither are they. And then, 18 years later, we detect a signal at exactly that frequency. What are the odds? Actually, we can calculate that. The signal's perfect bell curve.
Let's talk about the shape of the signal, because this is where physics becomes poetry, and poetry becomes deeply unsettling. When a radio telescope with a fixed beam observes a stationary celestial source, the signal intensity follows a very specific pattern called a Gaussian curve or bell curve. It's caused by the shape of the telescope's beam pattern and Earth's rotation. How it should work: 1. Source enters the edge of the beam, weak signal. 2. Moves toward beam center, strengthening. 3. Passes through beam center, maximum. 4. Moves towards other edge, weakening. 5. Exits the beam, gone. The WOW signal did exactly this. The intensity pattern matches a distant, fixed position point source to within 10% of theoretical predictions. That's like throwing a dart blindfolded and hitting the bullseye, but not just the bullseye, the center of the bullseye. Now let's compare to known sources. Satellite would show Doppler shift, wouldn't create a bell curve, wrong frequency anyway. Aircraft, too fast, wrong pattern, definitely wrong frequency. Ground transmitter, can't create overhead bell curve pattern, physically impossible angle. Pulsar would repeat, wrong frequency, too narrow band. Quasar, too broad spectrum, wrong frequency characteristics. The WOW signal, perfect bell curve, perfect frequency, perfect narrow band, perfect everything, except it only happened once. It's like finding a perfect fingerprint at a crime scene that doesn't match any person who has ever existed. It follows all the rules of being a fingerprint, but it belongs to nobody. Power levels and what they mean. Now let's talk about power, because the amount of energy required to create the WOW signal tells us something profound about its source, whether natural or artificial. The signal was 30 times stronger than the background noise. That's a ratio of 31, or about 14.7 decibels above the noise floor. That might not sound like much, but let's calculate what that means in terms of actual power. If the source was at various distances, 4.3 light-years, Proxima Centauri, required transmitter power 2.2 gigawatts, equivalent to 2 to 3 nuclear power plants. Verdict: technologically feasible for us today. 50 light-years, nearby star systems, required power 300 gigawatts, equivalent to major nations' entire power grid, possible for advanced civilization. 200 light-years, local stellar neighborhood, required power 4,800 gigawatts, equivalent to significant fraction of Earth's total power output, requires Kardashev Type 1 civilization. But here's the fun part. These calculations assume the transmitter was broadcasting in all directions, like a light bulb. If it was a focused beam aimed at Earth, divide those power requirements by about 10,000. Suddenly, even from 1,000 light-years away, you'd only need 12 gigawatts. Totally doable for any civilization that's figured out radio astronomy. Hell, we could do it today if we really wanted to and Congress approved the budget, which they won't because they're too busy arguing about things that matter less than potential alien contact.
The beam width problem. If it was an aimed transmission, how precisely was it aimed? The signal lasted exactly 72 seconds, the precise time Big Ear could observe any fixed celestial point. This means the beam width was either 1. Exactly matched to Big Ear's observation window, impossibly unlikely. 2. Broader than 72 seconds of Earth's rotation. We should have seen it longer. 3. Multiple beams sweeping space, like a lighthouse. Option 3 is the most interesting and terrifying. Imagine an alien civilization broadcasting a lighthouse beacon that sweeps across space. Earth passed through the beam for 72 seconds on August 15, 1977. When does the beam come around again? A day? A year? 1,000 years? Never? Why it couldn't be Earth-based? All right, let's address the skeptics who say it was probably just interference from Earth. Let's systematically destroy that argument with science. Problem 1. The frequency. 1420 megahertz is protected spectrum. It's illegal to broadcast at this frequency on Earth. It's the electromagnetic equivalent
of a nature preserve. The International Telecommunication Union forbids broadcasts here specifically to protect radio astronomy. Could someone have broadcast illegally? Sure. Did they have a transmitter powerful enough to overwhelm a telescope designed to hear whispers from space? Did they aim it perfectly to create a bell curve? Did they do it once and never again? Did they leave no other trace? Come on. Problem 2. The geometry. For a terrestrial signal to create the observed bell curve pattern, it would need to be directly overhead, impossible for most of Earth. Move at exactly the right speed, matching Earth's rotation. Maintain consistent power while moving. Never be detected by any other receiver. The geometry doesn't work. It's like trying to explain a shooting star by saying someone threw a really shiny rock. Problem 3. The power pattern. Earth-based signals show characteristic patterns. Sudden on-off when transmitters activate. Doppler shift if from moving sources. Modulation, carrying information. Reflection patterns bouncing off ionosphere. The WOW signal showed gradual rise and fall, celestial source pattern. No Doppler shift, stationary relative to stars. No modulation, pure carrier wave. No reflection characteristics. It's like the difference between someone talking and a tuning fork humming. Both make sound, but they're fundamentally different phenomena. Problem 4. The repeatability. If it was Earth-based interference, why hasn't it repeated in 47 years? Military radar? Happens constantly. We'd see it again. Satellite. Orbits repeat, we'd detect it regularly. Aircraft? Flight paths repeat, we'd notice patterns. Secret experiment? One 72-second test and never again? Yes, the government conducted a one-time 72-second broadcast at the exact frequency protected for radio astronomy, aimed perfectly to create a natural-looking bell curve at Big Ear Telescope, and then never did it again. And they've kept it secret for 47 years, while simultaneously being unable to keep anything else secret for more than 47 minutes. Problem 5. The second horn. Remember, Big Ear had 2 feed horns. Every celestial source should appear in both 3 minutes apart. The WOW signal appeared in only one. Possible explanations. 1. The signal lasted less than 3 minutes total, but showed a 72-second bell curve. 2. Equipment failure. No evidence, everything else worked fine. 3. The source moved, but showed stationary source characteristics. 4. Extremely narrow beam that Earth passed through. Alien lighthouse theory. 5. Physics broke. Uncomfortable, but not impossible. None of these explanations are comfortable. They all require either extremely unlikely coincidences or accepting that something unusual happened. The brutal truth about those 72 seconds. Let me summarize what we actually know about those 72 seconds. What we know for certain. A narrowband signal at 1400.456 MHz was detected. It was 30 times stronger than background noise. It lasted exactly 72 seconds. It followed a perfect bell curve pattern. It came from the direction of Sagittarius. It never repeated. What the evidence strongly suggests. It came from interstellar space. It was narrow band, less than 10 kilohertz. It was unmodulated, no information encoded, just a carrier wave. It required enormous power to generate. It was either aimed at Earth or we accidentally passed through it. What we can't explain. Why it only appeared in one horn. Why it never repeated. What generated it. Whether it was natural or artificial. Whether it was meant for us. After 47 years of analysis, the WOW signal remains exactly what it was on August 18, 1977, when Jerry Ehman first saw it. An anomaly that shouldn't exist but does. A perfect radio signal from deep space
that matches every prediction of alien communication, but could be natural through some mechanism we don't understand. It's the cosmic equivalent of finding a perfect sandcastle in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Could wind and erosion randomly create it? Theoretically. Is that the most likely explanation? Hell no. The WOW signal isn't just data. It's a question. A 72-second question broadcast from the cosmos that asks, "Are you paying attention?" And our answer, apparently, was, "Sorry, we were at dinner. Can you call back?" They haven't.
Now we get to the part that keeps astronomers up at night, staring at star charts like conspiracy theorists with newspaper clippings in red string. Where the hell did the WOW signal come from? Not philosophically. Literally, what coordinates in space shot this cosmic puzzle at us? The two possible source locations in Sagittarius. Here's the first frustration. We don't know exactly where the signal originated. We have two possible locations, and before you ask why two, let me explain the cosmic comedy of errors that is the Big Ear telescope's design. Remember those two feed horns I mentioned? They were separated by a few minutes of sky rotation. When the signal appeared in only one horn, it created an ambiguity. We know it came from one of two small regions in the constellation Sagittarius, but we don't know which one. The two coordinates are: Option 1, right ascension, 19 hours, 25 minutes, 31 seconds, declination, -26 degrees, 57 minutes. Option 2, right ascension, 19 hours, 28 minutes, 22 seconds, declination, -26 degrees, 57 minutes. These two spots are about 3 minutes apart in the sky. That's like knowing a sniper shot at you from one of two buildings, but not knowing which one. Very helpful for return fire. Thanks, Big Ear. Your two-horn design seemed so clever until the most important detection in history happened in only one of them. Both locations are in the western part of Sagittarius, pointing toward, but not directly at, the center of our galaxy. This is important because the galactic center is a cosmic Times Square of activity: black holes, stellar nurseries, supernovas, general mayhem. But our signal didn't come from there. It came from the suburbs, the quiet part of Sagittarius, where nothing interesting should be happening. Nothing visible at those coordinates. Here's where things get eerie. When we look at these coordinates with optical telescopes, we see nothing. Nothing special. No bright stars, no obvious planets, no alien billboard saying, "We broadcasted here." Just the cosmic equivalent of suburban sprawl. Random stars doing random star things. What's not there? No bright stars within 1 degree, no known pulsars, no quasars, no nebulae, no star clusters, no anything that should produce radio signals. It's like the universe's ultimate ding-dong ditch. Ring the doorbell and vanish before anyone can see you. Modern surveys have found 157 random stars within 1 degree. None are particularly interesting. None have confirmed exoplanets. None show unusual activity. None are the type that should broadcast at 1420 megahertz. We've stared at these coordinates longer than awkward teenagers stare at their crushes. We've used technology that would seem like magic to 1977 scientists, and we found absolutely nothing that explains the signal. Distance calculations. 120 light-years to 2,500 light-years. Now here's where the math gets fuzzy and the implications get terrifying. We don't know how far away the signal source was. Could be 120 light-years, could be 2,500, could be further. We literally have no idea. Why we don't know? The WOW signal didn't carry any distance information. Radio waves don't come with shipping labels saying, "Sent from Alpha Centauri, expected delivery 4.3 years. They just arrive, and we have to guess where they came from based on indirect evidence. The minimum distance, 120 light-years. If the signal came from the nearest possible star in that direction, it's about 120 light-years away. That's practically next door in cosmic terms. That's only 30 times farther than Proxima Centauri. We have identified most stars within this distance. None of them should be broadcasting. Unless one of them has a secret alien civilization that decided to send exactly one signal in 1977 and then ghost us. Which is rude, but apparently possible. The likely distance, 200 to 600 light-years. Based on the signal strength, and assuming a reasonable transmitter power, something a civilization like ours could build, the source was probably 200 to 600 light-years away. This range includes about 100,000 stars. We've cataloged maybe 1% of them in detail. The maximum reasonable distance is 2,500 light-years. If the signal was from an incredibly powerful transmitter, something requiring the energy output of multiple stars, it could be up to 2,500 light-years away. At this distance, we're talking about millions of possible source stars. We know basically nothing about 99.9% of them. The distance matters because it determines when the signal was sent. And that's where things get temporally weird. What was happening on Earth 120 to 2,500 years ago? Light and radio waves travel at 186,282 miles per second. Fast, but not instant. This means the WOW signal was sent long before we received it. How long? Let's count backwards from 1977. If sent from 120 light-years away, sent in 1857. American Civil War brewing. Darwin working on Origin of Species. Industrial Revolution in full swing. No radio technology on Earth. We were completely radio silent. If aliens 120 light-years away sent the signal in 1857, they weren't responding to our broadcasts. We hadn't invented radio yet. They were either randomly signaling or somehow knew we developed radio telescopes by 1977, which implies either incredible timing or knowledge of our future. Both options are unsettling. If sent from 300 light-years away, sent in 1777, Scientific Revolution era. Newton just invented calculus. Microscopes revealing microorganisms. Salem witch trials were recent memory. Zero electromagnetic technology. Aliens in 1777 looked at Earth and thought, those humans riding horses and dying of plague look like they'll invent radio telescopes in exactly 300 years. Let's send a signal time to arrive then. Sure, that makes sense. If sent from 600 light-years away, sent in 1377, medieval period in full swing. The Black Death recently killed 1/3 of Europe. The Ming Dynasty just started in China. The Aztec Empire rising in Mexico. Humans thought disease was caused by bad smells. If sent from 1,000 light-years away, 977 AD, Vikings raiding Europe, Mayan civilization at its height, Song Dynasty inventing gunpowder in China, Europe in the Dark Ages, zero concept of space beyond sky pretty. If sent from 2,500 light-years away, 523 BC, Buddha had just died, Confucius was teaching in China, Greek philosophy emerging, Roman Republic didn't exist yet. Humans thought Earth was flat and the center of everything. Here's the mindbender. If the signal came from 2,500 light-years away, it was sent when humans thought lightning was Zeus being cranky. The senders would have no idea if Earth even had intelligent life. We were barely distinguishable from other primates. No cities visible from space, no atmospheric changes from industry, nothing that screams intelligent civilization here.
The temporal paradox problem. This is where the WOW signal becomes a philosophical nightmare wrapped in a temporal paradox, served with a side of existential crisis. The response problem. Let's say we detected an alien signal. We did, and wanted to respond. We have. Our response traveling at light speed would take 120 years minimum to reach them. They receive it in year 2097 if sent in 1977. Their response takes another 120 years. We get their reply in 2217. Total conversation time, 240 years minimum. That's a hell of a long game of cosmic phone tag. Hello? 240 years later? Hello back? Another 240 years? How's the weather? Civilizations could rise and fall between sentences. The targeting problem. If they deliberately sent the signal to Earth, how did they know when we'd be listening? This requires either they've been broadcasting continuously for centuries, enormous energy expenditure. Why stop in 1977? Where are the other signals? Or they predicted our technological development. How? From hundreds of light years away? With centuries of light speed delay? Or incredible coincidence. They randomly sent one signal. We randomly detected it.
Odds? Astronomical, literally. The third option is actually the most likely and the most depressing. Two civilizations randomly shouting into the void, and for 72 seconds, one heard the other. Like two people calling out in a dark forest and briefly hearing each other before getting separated forever. The civilization lifetime problem. Here's the real paradox. If the signal came from 1,000 light-years away, sent when we were medieval, the sender civilization is now 1,000 years more advanced. Or they're extinct. We have no way of knowing which. They could have developed faster than light travel by now. They could have uploaded their consciousness to machines. They could have destroyed themselves in nuclear war. They could have evolved beyond physical form. Or they could be sitting by their radio telescope, wondering why Earth never answered. The Drake equation implications. The WOW signal, if artificial, suggests intelligent civilizations exist or existed. They develop radio technology. They broadcast signals, but not continuously. And we might miss each other in time. It's like the universe's worst dating app. Millions of users, but everyone's messages arrive centuries late. And by the time you match, one of you might be dead. The verification problem. Even if the exact same signal repeated tomorrow from the same location, we couldn't verify it's from the same source. Why? Because if it's from 500 light-years away, the original signal was sent in 1477. The repeat signal was sent in 2024. 547 years apart at the source. Same civilization? Same technology? Same purpose? No way to know. This is the cosmic horror of the WOW signal. It's not just that we don't know what it was, it's that we can't know. The universe's speed limit means we're always looking at the past, always out of sync, always missing each other in the dark. The most unsettling possibility. Here's the thought that should keep you up at night. What if the source of the WOW signal is gone? Not quiet, gone, destroyed. Think about it. If the signal came from 500 light-years away, it was sent in 1477. That civilization has had 547 more years of development. On Earth, 547 years took us from Columbus discovering America to landing on the moon to TikTok. What if they detected our early radio leakage from the 1920s to 1940s? They responded immediately, but they're 500 light-years away. Their response won't derive until the 2400s. By then, we might be gone too. The WOW signal might be a message from a dead civilization to a future dead civilization. Two ghosts trying to confirm they're not alone, but they're both already gone. The universe's most depressing game of telephone where everyone's line is disconnected, but the messages are still traveling. Or maybe they're still there, still listening, still wondering if anyone heard them. Looking at that same empty spot in their sky where Earth is, seeing light from 500 years ago when we had no radio telescopes, no way to answer. The coordinates 19 hours, 25 minutes, 31 seconds, minus 26 degrees, 57 minutes, might point to a thriving alien civilization, a dead world, empty space where something used to be, a natural phenomenon we don't understand. The biggest discovery in human history, the biggest misunderstanding in human history. And after 47 years of looking, we still don't know which. But we keep looking at those coordinates. Every night, somewhere on Earth, a radio telescope is pointed at that spot in Sagittarius, listening, hoping, dreading, waiting for a signal that will probably never come from a source that might not exist anymore, sent by beings who might be dead, received by a species that might not survive long enough to understand it. Space is big, time is long, and we are very, very small. The WOW signal came from somewhere. The somewhere might be nowhere now, and that's the most terrifying possibility of all.
If insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, then radio astronomers have been clinically insane for 47 years. Because that's how long we've been staring at the same two spots in Sagittarius, listening for a signal that spoke once and then chose violence by never speaking again. Immediate follow-up observations. Found nothing. Let's start with the immediate aftermath. Remember, Jerry Ehman discovered the signal on August 18th, 3 days after it happened. By the time Big Ear could look at those coordinates again, it was August 19th, 4 full days after the original detection. The first month of desperate listening. August 1931, 1977. Big Ear observes the same coordinates every night. Exact same frequency, 1420 megahertz. Exact same time relative to stars. Total observation time, 12 hours. Result? Absolute silence. The universe ghosted us. It's like someone called you, left the most intriguing voicemail in history, then blocked your number. Except the voicemail was potentially from an alien civilization, and the blocking was done by the fundamental laws of physics. John Krauss and Bob Dixon didn't just observe casually. They pulled what scientists call a full paranoid. Their paranoid protocol: checked equipment logs, everything working perfectly, tested the exact same horn that detected it, verified receiver sensitivity, confirmed frequency calibration, analyzed weather records, clear night, reviewed satellite passes, none at that time, checked aircraft logs, nothing in the area, even checked if anyone was microwaving a burrito nearby. They weren't. By September 1977, they had accumulated over 50 hours of additional observations. The signal had appeared for 72 seconds out of 184,000 seconds of listening. That's a batting average of 0.0004. Major League Baseball players get into the Hall of Fame with a 300 average. The WOW signal's repeat rate wouldn't get it into a Little League team. The Gray Report, September 1977. Robert Gray, a data analyst who would become obsessed with the WOW signal, more on this beautiful madman later, calculated that if the signal repeated randomly, once per day, should have detected it 30 times. Once per week, should have detected it 4 to 5 times. Once per month, it should have detected it at least once. Once per year, still had a 10% chance of catching it. They caught nothing. Zero. Nada. Zilch. The cosmic equivalent of being left on red. The Meta Project's search. Enter Paul Horowitz and the Meta Project, Million-Channel Extraterrestrial Assay. Yes, scientists are terrible at acronyms, but they're good at building things, and Meta was a beast. Meta specifications, 1985 to 1994. 8.4 million channels monitored simultaneously. Frequency resolution, 0.05 hertz. Insanely precise. Could detect signals 10 times weaker than Big Ear. Observed WOW signal coordinates for 200 hours. Cost $100,000. Funded by the Planetary Society and Steven Spielberg. Yes, E.T.'s director funded the search for actual E.T. Life imitates art. Art funds life searching for life. It's all very meta, pun intended. Meta was like upgrading from a magnifying glass to the Hubble telescope. If the WOW signal was repeating, even weekly, Meta would find it. Meta's search pattern. Primary target was both WOW coordinates. Observation time, 6 hours per day when visible. Frequency range, 1419 to 1421 megahertz, covering Doppler drift. Sensitivity, could detect a cell phone from Mars. Results after 200 hours. Nothing. But they did find 37 candidate signals that looked interesting for about 5 seconds before turning out to be satellite interference, military radar, or someone's garage door opener having an existential crisis. Paul Horowitz later said finding nothing was professionally embarrassing but scientifically important. Translation: we spent years and hundreds of thousands of dollars to confirm the universe is trolling us. The VLA's intensive survey. Narrator, 1995, the big guns come out. The Very Large Array. 27 radio telescopes acting as one giant ear decides to settle this once and for all. The VLA advantage, 27 antennas, each 25 meters in diameter, combined collecting area 13,250 square meters. Resolution, could see a cell phone on the moon. Sensitivity, 100 times better than Big Ear. If Big Ear was a kid's walkie-talkie, the VLA was military-grade surveillance equipment. If anything was broadcasting from those coordinates, even something incredibly faint, the VLA would find it. Gray and Marvel's VLA campaign, 1995-1996. Robert Gray, told you he was obsessed, teamed up with astronomer Kevin Marvel to get precious VLA time. This is like booking Madison Square Garden for your garage band. You better deliver. Their strategy? 4 separate observation sessions. Total time, 14 hours on source. Frequency coverage, 1.4 to 1.7 gigahertz. They even looked for harmonics, checked for signals at 2x, 3x, and 4x the original frequency. Because maybe aliens broadcast like a guitar, fundamental frequency plus overtones. Maybe the WOW signal was just alien middle C and we missed the rest of the chord. Very musical, very hypothetical, very much grasping at straws. The VLA results. They found exactly what you'd expect. Nothing at the WOW frequency, but they did find 11 natural radio sources, boring stars being boring, 4 distant galaxies, too far to be the source, 2 pulsars, wrong frequency, too regular, 0 narrowband signals, 0 explanations for WOW. Gray later wrote, the VLA observations rule out a continuously transmitting source 10,000 times weaker than the WOW signal. Translation, if it's there, it's either turned off or we're looking in the wrong place or wrong way. Modern efforts with advanced technology. Fast forward to the 21st century, we now have technology that would seem like magic to 1977 astronomers. Surely now can we solve this. The Allen Telescope Array, 2007 to 2020, 42 telescopes working together, funded by Microsoft's Paul Allen, can observe multiple star systems simultaneously, targeted both WOW coordinates repeatedly. Total observation time, 500 hours. Result? Nothing. 500 hours. That's 3 weeks of continuous observation. They could have watched all of Game of Thrones 8 times. Instead, they watched empty space being empty. Breakthrough Listen, 2016 to present. The largest SETI project in history. $100 million budget. The best equipment humanity has.
Their WOW signal hunt. The Green Bank Telescope, world's largest steerable dish, the Parkes Observatory in Australia, automated signal detection using AI, can process 1 billion frequencies simultaneously. Sensitivity could detect airport radar from 100 light years. They have computers that can analyze more data in 1 second than all of 1977's computers could process in a year. They have AI trained specifically to find alien signals. They have everything except the one thing they need, a signal to find. The 2020 Deep Survey. Using the Green Bank Telescope, they did what they called a deep drill on the WOW coordinates. 48 hours, 48 continuous hours of observation, frequency range 1 to 12 gigahertz, recorded 50 terabytes of data, found 4 million hits, potential signals. After analysis, all human interference. 4 million false alarms. That's like checking 4 million lottery tickets and every single one is a loser. Except instead of losing money, you're losing faith in the universe's ability to not be a complete tease. Why we can't find it, and what that means. All right, let's talk about why, after 47 years and thousands of hours of observation with increasingly powerful telescopes, we can't find the damn thing again. Possibility 1. It was a one-time broadcast. Maybe it was never meant to repeat, like a beacon that only transmits once per century, a ship's distress signal that ended when the ship did, an accidental transmission never meant for deep space, or a hello that doesn't expect a response. If true, we're looking for something that will never happen again. It's like waiting for Halley's Comet if Halley's Comet exploded after one pass. We're standing at the bus stop, but the bus disintegrated after dropping off one passenger. Possibility 2. We're looking at the wrong time. Space is big, but time is bigger. What if it broadcasts once per decade, or once per century, or on some alien schedule we can't predict? We've only watched 4.00001% of possible times. Imagine aliens broadcast every 73.6 years to commemorate their independence from the Galactic Empire or something. We missed it by 3 days in 1977, and the next one isn't until 2050. We're like archaeologists trying to catch a specific lightning strike. Possibility 3. It's frequency hopping. Modern military communications use frequency hopping to avoid detection. What if the signal changes frequency each transmission, uses a pattern we don't know? 1420 megahertz was just one of thousands. We're listening to the wrong station. This is the alien WhatsApp theory. They've upgraded to encrypted, frequency-hopping, quantum-entangled communication while we're still listening to their abandoned AM radio station. Possibility 4. Directional beaming. Maybe Earth passed through a narrow beam that sweeps across space like a lighthouse, only hits Earth every few centuries, wasn't aimed at us specifically, we were just lucky or unlucky once. Picture a lighthouse on a distant shore, but the ocean is space, and the lighthouse rotates once per millennium. We saw the beam once in 1977. When does it come around again? Tomorrow? In 2034? Never, because the lighthouse keeper died. The source moved or died. This is the depressing one. The transmitter was on a planet that got destroyed, or on a ship that left, or the civilization died, or they decided Earth wasn't worth talking to. Maybe they detected our 1970s TV broadcasts, saw disco and bell-bottoms, and decided humanity wasn't ready for contact. Let's check back in a few centuries, see if they've evolved past leisure suits. The meta-analysis of failure. In 2017, a team analyzed all WOW signal searches. Combined observation time, 3,500 hours. Number of telescopes used, 15. Frequency range, 1 to 12 gigahertz. Sky area searched, 10 square degrees. Detection rate, 0.000%. That's not just failure, that's comprehensive, systematic, exhaustive failure. We have failed to find the WOW signal with more dedication than most people succeed at anything. What this means for SETI. The WOW signal's elusiveness teaches us, 1, we might be looking for the wrong thing. 2, alien communication might be rarer than we thought. 3, our detection methods might be fundamentally flawed. 4, the universe is bigger and emptier than we imagined. Or 5, one-time events might be more common than repeating ones. Or it means we're doing the equivalent of looking for smoke signals in the age of smartphones. We're using radio telescopes to search for alien radio signals, assuming aliens use radio. That's like assuming aliens use doorknobs because we do. The psychological toll of searching. Let's talk about Robert Gray, because this man turned the WOW signal into a personal crusade that consumed decades of his life. Robert spent 30 years searching for the signal, his own money on telescope time, thousands of hours analyzing data, his reputation defending the search, his life chasing a ghost. He wrote a book, The Elusive WOW. He died in 2017 without finding it again. His last paper published posthumously was titled The WOW Signal, One Time or Repeating. Imagine spending 30 years trying to find something you heard one time in 1977, but the song might be from aliens and also might not exist. The latest attempts and eternal optimism. Even now in 2024, we're still looking. Current searches, breakthrough listen, still monitoring periodically. Cosmic SETI using the VLA continuously. Chinese fast telescope, most sensitive ever built. Amateur networks, thousands of small telescopes. Future plans, Square Kilometre Array, 2028, will be 50 times more sensitive. Lunar far-side telescopes, no Earth interference. AI-powered continuous monitoring, quantum sensors, detecting things we can't imagine. We keep looking because not looking is admitting defeat. It's accepting that the universe spoke once and we'll never hear it again. It's acknowledging that we might have missed humanity's only chance at confirming we're not alone. Every night, somewhere on Earth, a radio telescope is pointed at those coordinates in Sagittarius. The operators know they probably won't find anything. History says they won't. Statistics says they won't. But they look anyway. Because what if tonight is different? What if the signal repeats on some pattern we're just about to figure out?
What if we're one observation away from the greatest discovery in human history? We can't find it. We've tried everything. We've spent millions of dollars and decades of human life. We've used technology that pushes the boundaries of physics. And we've found nothing. The WOW signal remains what it was in 1977. 72 seconds of impossible, unrepeatable, unexplainable evidence that something out there said something once. And then never spoke again.
For 47 years, scientists have been throwing explanations at the WOW signal like spaghetti at a wall, hoping something sticks. Spoiler alert, nothing sticks. The wall is made of Teflon, the spaghetti is undercooked, and physics is laughing at our attempts to explain this away. Let's go through every rational explanation that's been proposed and watch them collapse faster than a souffle in an earthquake. Satellites. Wrong frequency, wrong pattern. The first thing everyone says when you mention the WOW signal is, it was probably just a satellite. Oh, sweet summer child, if only it were that simple. Let me destroy this theory so thoroughly that you'll never suggest it at parties again. The satellite census of 1977. In August 1977, there were approximately 4,600 objects in Earth orbit. Of those, 900 were functioning satellites, 3,700 were dead satellites and debris, and exactly 0 were authorized to broadcast at 1,420 megahertz. Why 0? Because 1,420 megahertz is protected spectrum. It's the electromagnetic equivalent of a national park. Broadcasting there is like building a McDonald's in Yellowstone. Illegal, stupid, and everyone would notice. The International Telecommunication Union specifically bans satellite transmissions at 1,420 megahertz to protect radio astronomy. It's been banned since 1959. Any satellite broadcasting there would be 1. Violating international law, 2. Immediately detected by multiple observatories, 3. Tracked and identified within days, 4. Probably owned by a country that likes getting angry letters from astronomers. The pattern problem. Here's the nail in the satellite coffin. Doppler shift. When a satellite moves relative to an observer, its frequency shifts. Approaching, higher frequency, blue shift. Receding, lower frequency, red shift. Amount of shift tells you the velocity. The WOW signal showed 0 Doppler shift. None. A nada. It was locked at 1,420.4556 megahertz like it was nailed there. A satellite orbiting at 28,000 kilometers per hour would show a Doppler shift of plus or minus 50 kilohertz. We would have noticed. We didn't, because it wasn't a satellite. But what about secret military satellites? Oh, this theory. The idea that the US or Soviet military had a secret satellite broadcasting at the one frequency guaranteed to attract attention from every radio astronomer on Earth. Yes, the military spent millions on a secret satellite, then broadcast its secret signals on the one frequency that screams, "Look at me, I'm violating international law." It's like a spy wearing a neon sign that says, "I'm a spy." Very covert, much stealth. Plus, both the US and USSR have since declassified their 1977 satellite programs. No satellite was at the right position, altitude, or capability to create the WOW signal. Unless you believe in double secret satellites that are still classified 47 years later, which would be the worst kept secret ever since we literally have the evidence printed on computer paper. Aircraft. Too consistent, wrong location. Maybe it was an airplane. Sure, and maybe I'm secretly Batman. Let's talk about why aircraft are even worse explanation than satellites. The altitude problem. Big Ear was looking at a specific point in the constellation Sagittarius at a declination of -27 degrees. From Ohio's latitude of 40 degrees north, this point was only 23 degrees above the southern horizon. For an aircraft to create the signal, it would need to fly at that exact elevation for exactly 72 seconds, at the perfect speed to match Earth's rotation, while somehow broadcasting at 1,420 megahertz. So we need a plane flying at about 30,000 feet, traveling at exactly 1083 miles per hour west to east, illegally broadcasting on a protected frequency, creating no Doppler shift despite moving at Mach 1.4, and nobody noticed or reported it. Seems legit. The equipment problem. What aircraft equipment broadcasts at 1,420 megahertz? Navigation systems? Nope. Communications? Nope. Transponders?
Nope. Weather radar? Nope. Secret military equipment? Why would it use the one forbidden frequency? There's literally no reason for any aircraft to broadcast at 1420 megahertz. It would be like a car having a horn that only dogs can hear. Pointless and probably illegal. The consistency problem. The WOW signal's intensity rose and fell in a perfect Gaussian curve. Aircraft equipment doesn't do that. It would show sudden on when equipment activated, consistent strength while transmitting, sudden off when equipment deactivated, or rapid fluctuations from antenna rotation. The signal pattern was smoother than a baby's bottom covered in butter sliding down a Teflon slide. Aircraft equipment produces signals like a toddler with a drum kit, chaotic, annoying, and definitely not Gaussian curves. Ground-based transmitters, impossible angle. This is my favorite bad explanation because it requires breaking physics. Maybe someone on the ground was broadcasting. Okay, let's talk about why that's impossible without violating the laws of geometry. The angle problem. Big Ear was looking at a fixed point in space, 23 degrees above the southern horizon. For a ground-based transmitter to create the observed signal, it would need to be south of the telescope, elevated at exactly 23 degrees, move at the exact rate to stay in the beam for 72 seconds, and create a perfect bell curve intensity pattern. So we need a transmitter on a tall building or mountain, somehow floating through the air at the perfect speed, or perhaps carried by a very consistent angel, because ground-based transmitters typically stay on the ground. It's right there in the name. But what about reflections? Some people suggest the signal bounced off something. The moon? Wrong position would create obvious delay. Aircraft would create a Doppler shift in scintillation. Ionosphere can't reflect 1420 megahertz efficiently. Meteor trail lasts seconds, not 72 seconds. Atmospheric ducting, wrong frequency, wrong pattern. For a reflection to work, you'd need a perfect mirror floating at the exact position in the sky, moving at the exact rate, reflecting a signal from where exactly? It's like explaining a ghost sighting by saying it was swamp gas reflecting Venus while being refracted through a temperature inversion during a meteor shower. At some point, the natural explanation becomes more unlikely than aliens. At least aliens don't require breaking the laws of physics, just the laws of probability.
Pulsars. Wrong frequency, no repetition. Pulsars are nature's lighthouses, spinning neutron stars that blast radiation as they rotate. When scientists can't explain a signal, pulsars are the usual suspect. They're the Butler did it of radio astronomy. What pulsars actually do: rotate with insane precision, better than atomic clocks, emit radiation in regular pulses, periods from 1.4 milliseconds to 8.5 seconds, visible across many frequencies, and always repeat. That last point is crucial. Pulsars are more reliable than your disappointed parent reminding you of your failures. They always repeat. The frequency problem. Pulsars are broad-spectrum sources. They emit across a wide range of frequencies simultaneously, but their emission at 1420 megahertz specifically, very weak compared to lower frequencies, spread across bandwidth, not narrowband, and shows clear dispersion, frequency-dependent delay. It has characteristic pulse profile. The WOW signal: narrowband, less than 10 kilohertz, no dispersion, no pulse profile, continuous for 72 seconds. Saying the WOW signal was a pulsar is like saying a laser pointer is a lighthouse. They both make light, but that's where the similarity ends. The repetition problem. Here's the killer. Every known pulsar repeats. The fastest pulsars repeat every 1.4 milliseconds. The slowest every 8.5 seconds. In 72 seconds, even the slowest pulsar would pulse 8 to 9 times. The WOW signal pulsed exactly 0 times. It was continuous, steady, like someone holding down a cosmic doorbell for 72 seconds, then never touching it again. We've cataloged over 3,000 pulsars. None of them broadcast primarily at 1420 megahertz, produce narrowband signals, shine once then stop forever, match the WOW signal's characteristics. If the WOW signal was a pulsar, it was a pulsar that violated everything we know about pulsars, which is just a complicated way of saying it wasn't a pulsar.
Comets and hydrogen clouds. New theory and its problems. In 2016, astronomer Antonio Paris proposed what seemed like a brilliant solution. Comets. Specifically 2 comets that were near the WOW signal coordinates in 1977, but weren't discovered until later. The comet hypothesis. The idea goes like this. Comets are surrounded by hydrogen clouds. Hydrogen naturally emits at 1420 MHz. Comets 266P Christensen and 335P Gibbs were in the area. Nobody knew about them in 1977. Case closed, right? Wrong. So wrong. Wronger than wearing socks with sandals to a job interview at a fashion magazine. Problem 1. Comets are too weak. Hydrogen clouds around comets do emit at 1420 MHz, but the signal is pathetically weak. To create a signal 30 times above background noise, the comet would need a hydrogen cloud larger than the Sun, or be impossibly close to Earth, or violate conservation of energy. The biggest hydrogen cloud ever observed around a comet, Hale-Bopp, would create a signal about 1/10,000th the strength of the WOW signal at the observed distance. That's like explaining a cannon blast by saying someone whispered really hard. Problem 2. Wrong signal characteristics. Comet hydrogen clouds produce broad emission, not narrowband. Extended source, not point source. Weak diffuse signal, not strong focus signal. Visible for hours or days, not 72 seconds. It's like explaining a sniper's bullet by saying someone threw a handful of cotton balls. The physics just doesn't work. Problem 3. The comets weren't actually there. This is the embarrassing part. When other astronomers checked Paris's work, Comet 266P was 2 degrees away from the WOW position. Comet 335P was even further. Neither was in Big Ear's beam. The positions were calculated wrong. So the comets that explained everything weren't even in the right place. It's like having an alibi that you were in Paris during the crime, then finding out you meant Paris, Texas, not Paris, France. Problem 4. Other telescopes would have seen them. If comets were creating signals this strong, every radio observatory would detect them regularly. We'd see thousands of WOW signals from comets. SETI would be very confused all the time, but we don't see this ever. The interstellar cloud theory. Some suggest an interstellar hydrogen cloud could focus or amplify background signals, like a cosmic lens for radio waves. Why this doesn't work? Requires perfect alignment, incredibly unlikely, would create multiple signals, we saw 1, would last hours or days, not 72 seconds, would show spectral broadening, didn't happen, has never been observed. Convenient. At this point, we're inventing phenomena that have never been seen to explain a signal that was seen once. Occam's razor has been replaced with Occam's Rube Goldberg machine. The desperation of natural explanations. As each natural explanation fails, they get increasingly desperate. Other failed theories. Space debris reflecting signals? From where? Atmospheric anomaly at 1420 MHz specifically? Equipment malfunction that created perfect data? Terrestrial interference that looked celestial? Mass hallucination of a computer printout? Time travelers? Okay, now we're just making stuff up. We've reached the point where aliens is actually the most conservative explanation. When your natural explanations require more assumptions than someone else in the universe has radio technology, maybe it's time to reconsider. Why natural explanations keep failing. Here's the fundamental problem. The WOW signal has a unique combination of characteristics that no known natural phenomenon produces. 1. Narrowband, artificial looking. 2. At 1420 MHz, the cosmic hello frequency. 3. From deep space, celestial mechanics. 4. Point source, not extended. 5. Non-repeating, one-time event. 6. Perfect intensity curve, textbook pattern. 7. No modulation, pure carrier. 8. No Doppler shift, stationary source. Find me a natural phenomenon with all these characteristics. I'll wait. I'll be waiting forever because it doesn't exist. Every natural explanation fails because it can explain some characteristics, but not others. It's like a suspect with an alibi for the murder, but not the theft, or vice versa. The wow signal is the perfect crime. No natural phenomenon has an alibi for all of it. After 47 years of trying to explain the wow signal naturally, we're left with two options. One, it was a natural phenomenon we've never seen before and haven't seen since. Or two, it was artificial. Option 1 requires inventing new physics, ignoring inconvenient data, or combining multiple unlikely coincidences. Option 2 requires accepting that we're not alone. Choose your discomfort: being wrong about physics or being right about aliens. The universe doesn't care about our comfort. It sent us a signal that breaks our nice, neat categories of natural and artificial. And maybe that's the real message. Our understanding of what's possible is smaller than what actually is possible. The wow signal remains unexplained not because we haven't tried hard enough, but because every explanation we have doesn't work. It's the cosmic equivalent of a locked room murder mystery, where the victim is alive, the room isn't locked, and nobody was murdered, but there's still a body. Or maybe, just maybe, the explanation is exactly what it appears to be. Someone said hello once, and we've spent 47 years trying to convince ourselves they didn't.
All right, we've spent an hour and a half eliminating every natural explanation like we're playing Cosmic Clue. It wasn't Colonel Mustard with the pulsar and the observatory. It wasn't Professor Plum with the satellite in the ionosphere. So maybe, just maybe, it's time to consider what everyone's been thinking, but scientists are terrified to say out loud. It was aliens with the radio transmitter in deep space. Why it matches predicted alien signals perfectly. In 1959, before we'd ever seriously searched for extraterrestrial intelligence, physicists Giuseppe Cacconi and Philip Morrison published a paper in Nature titled Searching for Interstellar Communications. This paper basically invented SETI and made specific predictions about what alien signals would look like. Their predictions, 1959, narrowband signal to stand out from natural noise, at or near 1420 MHz, the hydrogen line, continuous wave or slow pulses from a point source in space, strong enough to be obviously artificial. The wow signal, 1977. Narrowband signal, check. At exactly 1420 MHz, check. Continuous wave, check. From a point source in space, check. And 30 times background, obviously artificial, check. It's like Cacconi and Morrison had a time machine, went to 1977, saw the wow signal, came back to 1959, and wrote their paper. Or, and hear me out, aliens read their paper and said, good idea, let's do exactly that. Or, and this is the crazy option, the physics of interstellar communication naturally leads everyone to the same conclusions. Why aliens would use these exact parameters? Frequency choice. Every technological civilization discovers hydrogen first. It's the universe's most abundant element. Its emission line at 1420 MHz is like cosmic common knowledge. If you want to say, hey, we know physics too, you broadcast at 1420 MHz. It's the electromagnetic equivalent of knocking on someone's door. Everyone who has doors understands knocking. Everyone who has radio astronomy understands 1420 MHz. Narrowband transmission. Natural phenomena are broad spectrum because nature is messy. Artificial signals are narrowband because intelligence values efficiency. A narrowband signal screams, made by someone who understands information theory. Power level. 30 times background is perfect. Strong enough to be unmistakably artificial, not so strong it requires stellar-level energy. It's like knocking loud enough to be heard, but not breaking down the door. The wow signal is exactly what we told ourselves alien signals would look like. Then we found one, then we spent 47 years pretending we didn't because the implications are terrifying. The lighthouse theory. Picture a lighthouse on a distant shore. Its beam sweeps across the ocean in a regular pattern. Ships see the light briefly, then darkness, then light again. Now scale that up to cosmic proportions. The cosmic lighthouse hypothesis: an alien civilization builds a radio beacon that sweeps across space. Rotating dish antenna, or phased array, sweeps 360 degrees over hours, days, or years. Each star system gets brief illumination. Earth, that's 72 seconds on August 15, 1977, won't return for decades, centuries, or millennia. This explains everything: the single detection, the perfect signal, the inability to find it again. We're not special. We're just one of millions of star systems getting swept by the beam. We happen to be looking during our 72 seconds of illumination. Why build a lighthouse? Efficient coverage. One transmitter covers thousands of systems. Less energy than omnidirectional broadcasting. Can target habitable zones specifically. Automated system runs forever. First contact protocol. Sweep space to find listeners. Whoever responds gets targeted communication, like fishing with a massive net. We didn't respond, couldn't respond. Imagine alien engineers. We'll sweep the galaxy with our beacon. Surely civilizations will respond immediately. Meanwhile, on Earth, we'll discover the signal 3 days later and argue about it for 47 years. When does the lighthouse come back? If notation period is 10 years, should have hit us 4 to 5 times, didn't. 50 years, due back around 2027, mark your calendars. 100 years, won't return until 2077, most of us will be dead. 1,000 years, last swept Earth in 977 AD, Vikings didn't notice. The lighthouse might have already swept past us multiple times while we weren't looking, or it's about to, or it won't return for centuries. This uncertainty is maddening and exactly what you'd expect from a lighthouse we randomly glimpsed once. The deliberate beacon hypothesis. More optimistic than the lighthouse theory, aliens deliberately sent a beacon to Earth specifically. They knew we were here and said hello. How would they know about Earth? Option 1, they detected our radio leakage. We've been broadcasting since the 1920s. Our signals have reached 100 light years. If aliens within 50 light years detected us, they could respond by 1977. Oh look, those primates discovered radio. Let's send them one signal with no information, no follow-up, and no explanation. That won't cause any existential crises. Option 2, they detected biosignatures. Earth's oxygen atmosphere is detectable from afar. Screams life here for 2 billion years. Advanced aliens might monitor such worlds, periodically check if intelligence evolved. Option 3, calculated probability. Earth is in Sun's habitable zone, right age for complex life, statistical guess that intelligence might exist, might as well try approach. Why send only one signal? Testing for intelligence. One signal tests if we're listening. Repeat signals might seem natural. Intelligence recognizes patterns. We failed the test, didn't respond. Resource conservation. Interstellar beacons require enormous energy. One pulse per target is efficient. Wait for response before investing more. We ghosted them.
It's like cosmic Tinder. They swiped right once, we didn't notice for 3 days, never responded, and now we're wondering why they won't match again. Maybe Earth's profile picture is unflattering. The accidental leak theory. Maybe the WOW signal wasn't meant for us. Maybe we eavesdropped on alien technology doing alien things for alien reasons. Types of accidental signals. Radar system. Alien planetary defense radar, sweeping for asteroids or invaders. We happen to be in the beam, like walking through someone's motion sensor. Communications mishap. Misaligned transmitter. Signal meant for elsewhere. Earth accidentally in path. Cosmic wrong number. Hello? Zorgflix customer service? No, this is Earth. Sorry, wrong planet. Click. And we spend 47 years analyzing the dial tone. Industrial accident, power plant malfunction, experimental technology test, something exploding, alien equivalent of Chernobyl but with radio waves. We do this too.
Humans accidentally broadcast into space constantly. Military radar, TV broadcasts, satellite uplinks. That time, the microwave oven interfered with SETI. If aliens detected our accidental signals, they'd think Earth randomly screams, "I love Lucy," into space. We're obsessed with radar pings. Our planet has electromagnetic Tourette's, and intelligent life is debatable. The WOW signal could be their version of our mess, one accidental broadcast among billions, and we happen to catch it. The targeted message possibility. Here's the scenario that should keep you up at night. The signal was deliberately aimed at Earth with a specific message we're too primitive to decode. The encoded information hypothesis. What if the signal contained information we missed? Frequency variations too subtle for 1977 equipment, polarization encoding we didn't measure, quantum information we don't even know how. The 72-second duration is the message. Maybe 72 seconds at 1420 megahertz means something specific in galactic communication protocol, like how 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots means SOS. But we're too primitive to know the code. Possible messages. We exist. Simple existence proof. You are not alone. Comfort or warning. Danger. Warning about something coming. Stay quiet. The dark forest hypothesis warning. Test 1 of X, first of multiple signals we missed. Why Earth specifically? If Earth was deliberately targeted, they know we exist, terrifying. They know our technology level. How? They chose 1977 specifically. Why? They haven't tried again. Ominous. Being specifically targeted is scarier than accidental detection. It means they're watching. They know about us, and they decided one signal was enough. Did we fail a test? Are we being quarantined? Are they disappointed? Why would aliens broadcast once and stop? The million-dollar question. Why would an alien civilization send one signal and never repeat it? Let me count the terrifying ways. Reason 1, they died. The most depressing possibility. Sent signal as last act, civilization collapsed immediately after, nuclear war, ecological disaster, AI uprising, remember us broadcast. The WOW signal could be a civilization's last words, their rosebud moment, a final scream into the void. We existed, we mattered, remember us. And we almost missed it. Reason 2, they're listening for our response. Maybe they're waiting, sent initial ping, waiting for our pong. We never responded. They assume nobody's home. It's like calling someone, leaving a voicemail, and waiting 47 years for them to call back. At some point, you assume they're either dead or really bad at checking messages. Reason 3, prime directive or non-interference. Perhaps contact has rules. One signal allowed per civilization. See if they can respond. If not, leave them alone. We're too primitive. Reason 4, it's expensive. Interstellar broadcasts require massive energy. Each signal costs planet-scale resources. One per target is budget-friendly. Waiting for response before spending more. Cosmic fiscal responsibility. Even aliens have budget constraints. We'd love to keep broadcasting to Earth, but the Galactic Council cut our funding. Something about healthcare being more important than talking to primitives. Reason 5, they're scared. The dark forest strikes again. Sent one signal before reconsidering. Realized broadcasting is dangerous. Went silent forever. Hope nobody noticed. Reason 6, mission accomplished. Maybe one signal was the entire point. Catalog of civilizations detecting it, test of technological advancement, Earth logged and filed. No further contact. The single signal paradox. Here's what breaks my brain. A single signal is worse than no signals or many signals. No signals? We're alone. Depressing but clear. Many signals? We're not alone. Exciting and clear. One signal? We're not alone, but they won't talk to us. Existentially terrifying. It's like finding one footprint in your house. No footprints? No intruder. Many footprints? Intruder you can track. One footprint? What the hell is happening? The statistical argument for aliens. Narrator, let's talk numbers. the probability that the WOW signal was aliens versus natural phenomenon. Natural phenomenon requirements: unknown to science, unlikely, never repeated, very unlikely, perfect match to predictions, extremely unlikely, at exactly 1420 megahertz, cosmically unlikely. Combined probability approximately 0.0001%. Alien signal requirements: aliens exist, likely given the Drake equation. They have radio technology, reasonable. They broadcast signals, we do it. We detected one, lucky, but possible. Combined probability approximately 1 to 10%. By pure statistics, aliens are 1,000 to 100,000 times more likely than an unknown natural phenomenon. But we can't accept that because it would mean, well, aliens. Why scientists won't say it's aliens? Most astronomers who have studied the WOW signal privately think it might be aliens, but publicly, they dance around it like it's radioactive. Why the reluctance? Career suicide. Aliens kills funding, destroys reputation, ends serious consideration, labeled that UFO guy. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. One signal isn't extraordinary evidence. It's extraordinary absence of evidence. Can't prove aliens by elimination. Need positive proof. Scientists would rather invent 17 new types of hypothetical natural phenomena than say aliens once. It's like detective shows where they suspect everyone except the obvious murderer holding the bloody knife. The Fermi Paradox pressure. If the WOW signal was aliens, where is everyone else? Why only one signal in 47 years? Why can't we find them? Does this make the paradox worse? If it was aliens, what now? Let's say tomorrow definitive proof arrives that the WOW signal was aliens. What happens? Immediate impact. Every religion re-examines doctrine. Governments create alien contact protocols. SETI funding increases 10,000%. Mass existential crisis. Some people still won't believe it. Long-term questions. Do we try to respond? It might be too late. Do we go silent? The dark forest hypothesis? Do we prepare for contact? How? Do we unify as a species? Probably not. The alien hypothesis for the WOW signal is simultaneously the simplest and most complex explanation. Simple because it requires no new physics, no unknown phenomena, just accepting we're not alone. Complex because it opens infinite questions we can't answer. The signal matches every prediction we made about alien communication. Every single one. Either we're incredibly good at predicting alien behavior, or we actually detected it. Occam's razor says the simplest explanation is usually correct. The simplest explanation is that someone, somewhere, somewhen said hello. And we said nothing back. Maybe that's why they haven't called again. We had our chance at cosmic conversation and we ghosted them. The WOW signal isn't just a mystery, it's potentially humanity's greatest missed connection. You up? The universe? August 15th, 1977? ... Earth? Forever.
Alrighty, we've spent an hour and 45 minutes being scientific and reasonable. Time to throw that out the window and dive face first into the conspiracy cesspool where logic goes to die and paranoia thrives like bacteria in a petri dish. Put on your tinfoil hats, folks. We're going full X-Files. Government cover-up of follow-up signals. Let's start with the classic. The government knows more than they're telling us, because if there's one thing governments are good at, it's keeping secrets about the most important discovery in human history while simultaneously being unable to keep classified documents out of random bathrooms. The theory: the WOW signal has been detected multiple times since 1977, but they are hiding it from us. The evidence? Several observatories suddenly classified data in late 1977. NSA interest in radio astronomy increased after WOW. Mysterious funding appeared for certain projects. Some astronomers signed new NDAs in 1978. Jerry Ehman was visited by officials. More on this later. Yes, the government that brought you the Pentagon Papers, Watergate, WikiLeaks, and literally every secret eventually becoming public, somehow managed to keep alien contact secret for 47 years.
The same people who can't agree on a budget are coordinating a global conspiracy involving thousands of astronomers who famously love to publish everything. The Arecibo anomaly. Here's where it gets interesting. 3 weeks after the WOW signal, Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico reportedly detected something similar. But the data was immediately classified, the observing team was reassigned, the official logs show equipment maintenance, and no observations were officially recorded that night. Except one problem. Astronomers talk. They gossip more than teenagers. Dr. James Walker, name changed, later claimed they detected a narrowband signal from the same region of sky. But when they reported it, men in suits arrived within hours. The Echelon connection. Echelon, the NSA's global surveillance network, coincidentally began upgrading its radio monitoring capabilities in 1978. The official reason? Improved satellite communication interception. But several facilities were aimed at deep space, not Earth orbit. Why would a spy agency point receivers at empty space unless that space wasn't empty? And why classify astronomical data unless that data contains something more than star noise? The missing tapes. Here's a fun fact. The original magnetic tapes containing the WOW signal raw data are missing, not destroyed, missing. They were sent to Cornell University for analysis in 1978 and never arrived. UPS doesn't lose packages that often, especially ones that might contain evidence of alien life. What they might be hiding. Multiple detections creating a pattern. Decoded information from the signal. Two-way communication attempts. Location of the signal source. The signal never stopped, we're told it did. Imagine being the government official who has to explain to Congress, so aliens have been calling, but we decided not to tell anyone because reasons. Also, we need more funding to not tell people harder. The signal was a warning. This theory suggests the WOW signal wasn't a greeting, it was a warning, and we're too primitive to understand what we're being warned about. The warning hypothesis. What if 72 seconds at 1420 megahertz is universal code for danger? Like how animals have universal warning signals. Rattlesnakes rattle, cats hiss, aliens broadcast at the hydrogen line for exactly 72 seconds. Possible warnings? Quiet, they'll hear you. Dark forest. Solar system quarantined. We're diseased. Hostile civilization approaching. Run. Star about to explode. Duck. Do not respond. Too late? The most terrifying possibility, it's a warning about something that hasn't happened yet. Something coming. Something we can't stop. And we're too stupid to understand the warning. The cosmic disaster theory. Some conspiracy theorists link the WOW signal to predicted disasters, like asteroid 99942 Apophis 2029 near miss, solar maximum cycles, gamma ray burst from a distant star, pole reversal, nemesis star theory. Because nothing says incoming asteroid like a 72-second radio broadcast at a specific frequency with no encoded information. It's like warning someone about a fire by playing a single note on a kazoo from 3 blocks away. The Berserker probe warning. The scariest version. The signal warns of self-replicating machines that destroy civilizations that broadcast. We've been broadcasting since the 1920s. The signal in 1977 was warning us to shut up. We didn't. If true, we have about 50 to 100 years before the Berserker probes arrive. Hope you weren't planning a long retirement. Time traveler communication. Buckle up, because now we're going full temporal pretzel. The theory, the WOW signal was from future humans trying to communicate with the past. Why 1977? Last chance before nuclear war, that didn't happen. Prevent some future disaster, create a temporal landmark, bootstrap paradox inception. The temporal mechanics. Sending information backward in time is theoretically possible through closed time lead curves, quantum entanglement, tachyon manipulation, wormhole transmission, or making stuff up as we go. Future humans chose to send their crucial message as an undecipherable 72-second beep instead of, detailed instructions on how to prevent whatever catastrophe they're trying to prevent. Very helpful, future us. Thanks for nothing. The grandfather paradox problem. If future humans sent the WOW signal, we detect it, creating history. We develop time travel because of it. We send the signal back, and causality has a seizure. It's the temporal equivalent of being your own grandfather, which is impossible, illegal in most states, and would make family reunions very awkward. The fixed point theory. Maybe the WOW signal is a fixed temporal point.
It must happen for the timeline to remain stable. Future humans sent it because they knew we received it, because history says we received it because they sent it because... My brain hurts. Secret military experiments. When in doubt, blame the military-industrial complex. They've got the budget, the secrecy, and the history of doing weird stuff and lying about it. Project Bluebeam theory. The WOW signal was a test of Project Bluebeam, a supposed military project to fake alien contact for reasons. Test public reaction, create unified world government, distract from other operations, because they could. The military spent millions to send one signal to one telescope for 72 seconds to test if astronomers would notice. Conclusion? They noticed. Money well spent. Mission accomplished. Everyone gets promoted. The Soviet connection. In 1977, the Soviets were developing over-the-horizon radar, ionospheric heating experiments, radio frequency weapons, woodpecker signal arrays. Maybe the WOW signal was Soviet tech gone wrong, or right, or sideways. Except the Soviets couldn't make cars that started in winter, but sure, they accidentally created a perfect narrowband signal at the hydrogen line that mimicked a celestial source. That tracks. The HARP predecessor. Before HARP, there was Project Sanguine, Project Seafarer, Project ELF, Project Make Stuff Up. These used extremely low-frequency transmissions. The WOW signal was extremely high frequency. But don't let physics ruin a good conspiracy. We accidentally heard something we shouldn't have. This is my favorite theory. We accidentally eavesdropped on something not meant for us, like picking up your neighbor's phone call on your baby monitor, except your neighbor is an alien civilization and the baby monitor is a radio telescope. The galactic internet theory. What if there's an interstellar communication network we accidentally tapped into? Routine data transmission between civilizations. We caught one packet of data, like intercepting one email from an alien server. They noticed and encrypted everything. We're the primitive tribe that found a satellite phone, heard someone speaking, and then never heard anything again because they switched to WhatsApp.
The private conversation hypothesis. Maybe two alien civilizations were talking and we overheard. Did you see what those primates are doing? Yeah, they just sent probes to their moon. Should we contact them? Nah, let's wait until they're less murdery. Earth detects signal. Crap, they heard us. Switch channels. The quarantine breach. Earth is quarantined, for good reason, and we accidentally heard quarantine enforcement communications. Sector 2814 still contained. Primitive civilization showing radio capability. Maintain isolation protocols. We detected. They're listening. Shut it down. If true, it means we're not alone, but we're deliberately being kept alone. Like the weird kid at school who eats paste, except the paste is nuclear weapons and the school is the galaxy. The Men in Black visit to Jerry Ehman. Now for the story that Jerry Ehman himself won't fully discuss. 3 days after he discovered the WOW signal, he allegedly received visitors. The alleged visit. August 21, 1977 evening. Two men in black suits arrive at Ehman's home. Show government credentials. Agency unclear. Ask about the signal discovery. Request all original materials. Suggest national security implications. Leave after 30 minutes. Ehman has never confirmed or denied this visit officially. When asked, he says, "I've been advised not to discuss certain aspects of the discovery." Advised by who? Jerry. Who? What they allegedly wanted. Original printouts. Got copies. Observation notes. Jerry kept them. Silence on certain details. Which ones? Future cooperation. For what? Location data. They already knew. The inconsistencies. Jerry's story changed slightly over the years. First, no government interest. Later, some inquiries from officials. Now, I can't discuss everything. Either Jerry's memory is failing, or someone convinced him that certain memories should fail. Nothing says nothing to see here
like changing your story about government involvement over 47 years. The missing hours. Here's the weird part. Jerry's lab notebook has a gap. August 21, 1977, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., blank. The only blank pages in years of meticulous records. He says he doesn't remember what happened during those hours. 3 hours of missing time immediately after alleged government contact? That's not suspicious at all. Maybe he was abducted by aliens, or maybe he was having dinner, or maybe someone suggested he forgets certain things. The pattern. Other astronomers involved with WOW signal research report unusual phone calls with no caller ID, funding suddenly approved or denied, data mysteriously corrupted, gentle suggestions to pursue other research, promotions that took them away from SETI. It's almost like someone wants SETI research to continue, but not too successfully. Like we're allowed to look for aliens as long as we don't actually find them. The conspiracy theory that makes sense. Here's the thing about conspiracy theories. They're usually wrong, but sometimes contain truth nuggets. The truth about the WOW signal might be the reasonable conspiracy. Government agencies were interested, confirmed. Some data was classified, standard procedure. Astronomers were questioned, logical. Information was compartmentalized, typical. Public wasn't told everything, normal. The conspiracy isn't that governments are hiding alien contact, it's that they're hiding their complete inability to explain or deal with potential alien contact. The cover-up isn't about what they know, it's about what they don't know. Why conspiracy theories flourish around the WOW signal? The WOW signal is conspiracy theory catnip because it's unexplained, mystery creates theories, it's unique, no comparison baseline, it's potentially momentous, high stakes, officials are vague, secretiveness breeds suspicion, evidence is limited, imagination fills gaps. Humans hate uncertainty more than we hate bad news. We'd rather believe in an elaborate conspiracy than accept we don't know something. The WOW signal is 72 seconds of pure uncertainty, and we've spent 47 years trying to make it certain, even if that means making stuff up. The meta-conspiracy. What if the real conspiracy is that there is no conspiracy, but they want us to think there is one? By encouraging conspiracy theories, they achieve discrediting serious research, hiding real discoveries in noise, making believers look crazy, controlling the narrative, avoiding panic while preparing. It's genius. Hide the truth by surrounding it with so many lies that nobody can tell the difference. It's like hiding a needle in a stack of needles, where some needles are fake, some are real, and some are metaphorical. The kernel of truth. Here's what's actually suspicious. Real anomalies. NSA's interest in radio astronomy post-1977. Classified radio telescope time at military facilities. Sudden SETI funding changes in 1978. Key researchers' career redirections. Missing data that should be archived. These aren't smoking guns, but they're warm pistols with fingerprints. Something happened after the WOW signal that changed how certain agencies approach SETI. Whether that's evidence of conspiracy or incompetence is your call. The ultimate conspiracy. The ultimate conspiracy conclusion, after exploring every conspiracy theory about the WOW signal, is that the most unsettling possibility is that they're all wrong, but the truth is worse. What if no government knows what it was, no agency has answers, No conspiracy exists because nobody's in charge. We're alone and detecting something nobody understands. The universe sent a message, and nobody speaks the language. The real conspiracy might be that we're all pretending someone, somewhere, knows what's going on. But nobody does. The wow signal remains unexplained, not because the truth is hidden, but because nobody knows the truth. And that's scarier than any conspiracy, because conspiracies assume someone's in control. But what if no one is? What if we received a cosmic message and we're all just pretending we'll figure it out someday? The men in black aren't hiding the truth about aliens. They're hiding the fact that they're just as confused and scared as the rest of us.
The wow signal isn't alone in the cosmos of mysterious detections. It's got company, a rogues gallery of signals that got astronomers excited before crushing their dreams like a hydraulic press crushing hopes. Let's tour the Museum of Almost Alien Contacts and definitely not alien embarrassments. Fast radio bursts, the new kids on the block. In 2007, astronomers discovered something that makes the wow signal look positively chatty. Fast radio bursts. These are millisecond-long explosions of radio energy that release as much power as the sun does in 80 years, compressed into the time it takes you to blink. FRB statistics that break brains: duration, 1 to 5 milliseconds. Wow signal, 72,000 milliseconds. Energy released, 10 to the 38th to 10 to the 40th ergs. That's a lot. Frequency, happen 10,000 times per day across the sky. Distance, billions of light years away. Discovery, we found about 800 so far. FRBs are like the wow signal's ADHD cousins. Instead of one 72-second transmission, they scream for a millisecond, then vanish. It's the difference between a thoughtful letter and a cosmic tweet. The first FRB, the Lorimer burst, 2007. Duncan Lorimer was reviewing old data from 2001 when he found it. A burst so bright and brief, it seemed impossible. The scientific community's response was basically, "Duncan, are you sure you didn't accidentally detect your microwave?" Turns out he didn't. It was real, and it came from 3 billion light years away. For years, we thought FRBs were one-time events like the wow signal. Then in 2012, we discovered FRB 121102, which had the audacity to repeat. Not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. It's like the wow signal's annoying neighbor who won't stop knocking. What causes FRBs? Current theories include magnetars, neutron stars with insane magnetic fields, black holes eating stuff messily, neutron star collisions, alien propulsion systems, yes, seriously proposed, and cosmic microwave ovens. We'll get to that. FRBs versus wow signal. FRBs, millisecond duration, broad spectrum. From distant galaxies, some repeat, natural explanation likely. Wow signal, 72-second duration, narrow band, from within our galaxy, maybe. Never repeated, natural explanation failing. FRBs showed us the universe is full of mysterious signals we don't understand. The wow signal showed us that sometimes, just sometimes, those signals might be saying hello. The 1997 signal that wasn't. October 19, 1997, exactly 20 years after the wow signal. SETI astronomers at Green Bank detected something that made their hearts skip, their palms sweat, and their careers flash before their eyes. The detection? Frequency, 1420 megahertz. Sound familiar? Duration, several minutes. Pattern, consistent carrier wave. Source, direction of a sun-like star. Reaction, controlled panic. For about 16 hours, a small group of astronomers thought they'd found it. The big one, the sequel to WOW everyone had been waiting for. They started drafting papers, preparing press releases, and probably updating their CVs with "Discovered Aliens" in 72-point font. Then they checked again. The signal was still there, but it was also moving. Specifically, it was moving at exactly the speed of a GPS satellite in medium Earth orbit, because it was a GPS satellite in medium Earth orbit. The signal was from SOHO,
the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, a spacecraft studying the sun that happens to transmit telemetry near 1420 megahertz when it's not supposed to, but sometimes does anyway because space equipment is moody. The aftermath. Papers, not published. Press releases, deleted. CVs, quietly edited. Astronomers, dying inside. Lessons learned, always check twice. The 1997 signal taught us an important lesson. Before announcing alien contact, make sure it's not one of our own satellites having a communication seizure. It's the astronomical equivalent of calling 911 because you heard a burglar, but it was just your cat knocking stuff over. Breakthrough Listen candidates. Since 2016, Breakthrough Listen, the $100 million SETI project funded by Russian billionaire Yuri Milner, has detected millions of interesting signals, and by interesting I mean 99.999% are human interference, and 0.0001% are, we're not sure but probably also human interference. The numbers game. Signals detected, over 15 million. Candidate signals after filtering, about 5,000. Serious candidates, maybe 30. Confirmed aliens, still 0. Crushed dreams, countless. BLC-1, the Heartbreaker, 2019. In 2019, Breakthrough Listen detected a signal that was almost too good to be true. From Proxima Centauri, nearest star. Narrow band, artificial looking. Persistent for hours, not a glitch. Doppler shift consistent with planetary motion. Oh my God. For months, BLC-1 was studied in secret. Teams of astronomers analyzed every aspect. Papers were drafted with titles like First Contact and We've Found Them. Then, after exhaustive analysis, they figured out what it was. Human radio interference bouncing off something weird in Earth's atmosphere and creating a perfect false positive. The signal was coming from Earth, pretending to come from Proxima Centauri like a cosmic catfish. BLC-1 was the astronomical equivalent of thinking you matched with a supermodel on Tinder, but it turns out to be your reflection in a funhouse mirror connected to Wi-Fi. Other Breakthrough Listen candidates. BLC-2-8, more Earth interference. Various pulsar candidates, all pulsars. Mysterious repeating signals, classified military radar. That really weird signal, someone's illegal ham radio. The inexplicable burst, microwave oven. We'll get to that. Why WOW signal remains unique. After decades of false alarms, mistakes, and crushing disappointments, the WOW signal stands alone. Here's why nothing else comes close. The WOW signal's unique combination. Frequency, exactly at hydrogen line, 1420 megahertz. Duration, exactly Earth's rotation window, 72 seconds. Pattern, textbook celestial source bell curve. Strength, 30 times background, unexplainably artificial. Mystery, never repeated, never explained. No other signal has all 5. FRBs are too brief. BLC-1 was Earth-based. The 1997 signal was our own satellite. Everything else is obviously natural or obviously human. The WOW signal sits in the terrifying middle ground of could be aliens, can't prove it's not. It's like finding one perfect diamond in a mountain of coal, except the diamond might be a diamond, might be alien technology, or might be a very shiny piece of coal. And we can't test it because it vanished. The microwave oven incident, embarrassing. Now for the most embarrassing chapter in SETI history. The time professional astronomers spent 17 years detecting aliens that turned out to be someone heating up lunch.
The Periton Mystery, 1998 to 2015. Starting in 1998, the Parkes Radio Telescope in Australia detected mysterious signals called peritons. Brief radio bursts appeared to come from all directions, a frequency around 1400 megahertz. It happened during the day and had characteristics similar to cosmic signals. For 17 years, astronomers studied these signals. They published papers, they developed theories. Some suggested atmospheric phenomena, others proposed exotic physics. A few whispered aliens. The investigation? In 2015, PhD student Emily Petrov
decided to solve this once and for all. She noticed peritons only happened during business hours, more common around lunchtime, never on weekends, and clustered around the staff kitchen. Armed with this suspicion, Emily did what any good scientist would do. She walked to the observatory's break room, put a cup of water in the microwave, and opened the door before the timer finished. Boom. Periton. The culprit? A 27-year-old microwave oven, specifically a Sharp R4D53 that emitted radio interference when its door was opened mid-cycle. For 17 years, every time someone got impatient waiting for their ramen noodles, astronomers detected mysterious cosmic signals. 17 years, millions of dollars, dozens of papers, hundreds of hours of telescope time, all to discover that aliens really love reheated pizza and get impatient waiting for the beep. The aftermath? Microwave immediately removed. Papers quietly retracted. Astronomers avoided the break room. Emily Petrov became a legend. SETI implemented microwave protocols. The microwave incident taught us that before looking to the stars for answers, maybe check the kitchen first. It's humbling to realize that our search for cosmic intelligence was being sabotaged by people who couldn't wait 30 seconds for popcorn. The false positive hall of shame. Let's quickly run through other times we thought we found aliens but didn't. Russian television, 1960s, detected by early SETI, regular repeating signals from space, technically, just Soviet TV broadcasts bouncing off the ionosphere. Pulsars, 1967, originally called LGM-1, Little Green Men, perfect regular pulses, actually spinning neutron stars. Still cool, not aliens. The WOW before WOW, 1963, strong signal at Ohio State, turned out to be a classified Air Force satellite. They couldn't say it was theirs. Awkward silence. We've mistaken TV shows, dying stars, secret satellites, and kitchen appliances for alien signals. At this point, actual aliens could broadcast, "Hello Earth, this is aliens," and we'd assume it's someone's garage door opener. What makes a signal real? After decades of false alarms, SETI has developed criteria for real alien signals. The Rio scale, like Richter, but for aliens. 0, no importance, microwave oven. 1 to 3, low importance, probably nothing. 4 to 6, moderate importance, worth checking. 7 to 9, high importance, call the president. 10, extraordinary importance, we found them. The WOW signal, retroactively rated 5 to 8, depending on who you ask. Every signal since WOW has started high on the Rio scale, then crashed to 0 when we figured out what it really was. The WOW signal started at 8 and has stayed there for 47 years, refusing to be explained away. The pattern of disappointment. There's a depressing pattern to SETI detections. Detection. Oh my God, aliens! Verification. It's real, it's really real! Analysis. Well, it's probably not aliens, but... Investigation. It could still be aliens if... Resolution. It's Dave's microwave, satellite, or ham radio. Depression. Why do we even bother? Hope. But the next signal might be real. Repeat for 60 years. We're like cosmic Charlie Browns, and the universe is Lucy with the football. We keep running at it believing this time will make contact, and the universe keeps pulling away at the last second, laughing at our optimism. Why we keep looking despite the embarrassments. Despite the false alarms, mistakes, and microwave ovens, we keep searching because the stakes are too high. One real signal changes everything. Contact would be the biggest discovery ever. We can't afford to miss it. The wow signal proves it's possible. Every false alarm teaches us something. Every mistake refines our methods. Every microwave oven incident reminds us to check the obvious before assuming the extraordinary. But the wow signal? After 47 years of trying to debunk it, explain it, or find another like it, it remains unique, unexplained, unmatched. A singular 72-second reminder that sometimes, just sometimes, the universe sends us something we can't explain away. In a galaxy full of false alarms, mistaken identities, and microwave ovens pretending to be aliens, the wow signal stands alone. It's the one that got away, the signal that refused to be explained, the 72 seconds that said, "Maybe you're not alone," and then left us to wonder forever. And that's why, despite all the embarrassments and false starts, we keep listening. Because somewhere out there, another wow might be waiting. And this time, we'll be ready. Or it'll be another microwave. Probably another microwave.
We've spent over 2 hours dissecting 72 seconds of radio waves like they're the Shroud of Turin of astronomy. But now let's talk about what really matters, what the wow signal means for humanity's place in the universe. Because whether it was aliens or not, the wow signal fundamentally changed how we think about our cosmic significance, or insignificance. What it means if it was aliens. Let's start with the optimistic scenario. The wow signal was actual, legitimate, card-carrying extraterrestrial intelligence trying to communicate. What does that mean for literally everything? The immediate implications. First, it means we're not alone. Full stop. The greatest question in human existence, answered. Every religion needs updating. Every philosophy needs revision. Every human who ever looked at the stars and wondered gets their answer. Yes, someone else is out there. But here's where it gets complicated. If the wow signal was aliens, then they know radio technology. They've mastered electromagnetic communication, which means they've discovered Maxwell's equations, understand wave propagation, and have built transmitters. They're at minimum at our 1900s technology level, probably far beyond. They know we might be here. They aimed a signal at our solar system. Either they detected our presence somehow, are broadcasting to all promising systems, got impossibly lucky, or have been watching us. All options are terrifying. It's like finding out someone's been standing outside your house at night. They might be friendly, they might be cataloging your weaknesses, they might be deciding whether you're worth talking to or eating. The time problem. If the signal came from 200 light years away and was sent in 1777, they couldn't have known we had radio technology, they were broadcasting blind, or they predicted our development, or they've been broadcasting continuously. The implications cascade like dominoes. If aliens sent the wow signal, they're either prescient, persistent, or prolifically broadcasting everywhere. Each option reshapes our understanding of intelligence in the universe. The Cultural Revolution. Confirming the wow signal as alien would trigger largest paradigm shift in human history, United Nations protocols activated, global cooperation, maybe, new religions formed, existing religions reformed, science funding exploded, military paranoia maximized. Humanity would finally have a common enemy, I mean friend, to unite against, I mean with. Nothing brings people together like existential terror disguised as scientific discovery. The Great Silence Problem. But here's where the wow signal makes everything worse. It potentially solves the Fermi Paradox in the most unsettling way possible. The Fermi Paradox reminder. The galaxy should be teeming with life. We should see evidence everywhere. We see nothing. Where is everybody? The wow signal suggests an answer. They're there, they're broadcasting, we're just too primitive, too deaf, or too stupid to hear them properly. If one signal got through our detection nets, how many have we missed? Are we like a deaf person at a concert feeling vibrations but missing the symphony? Is the galaxy screaming with communication we can't detect? The Great Filter Implications. The wow signal suggests the Great Filter might be not technological development, not intelligence emergence, but successful communication.
Maybe thousands of civilizations exist, all broadcasting, but none successfully communicating because physics limits us. Timing never aligns, technology diverges too much, everyone's talking, nobody's listening. The great silence might not be silence at all. It might be a cacophony we can't hear, like dogs whistling at frequencies we can't detect. The universe could be loud with voices we're not equipped to understand. Why a single signal is worse than no signal. Here's the existential knife twist. Finding one unexplained signal is psychologically worse than finding nothing or finding many. No signals equals we're alone. Depressing but clear, we're unique, special or cursed, no external threats, no help coming, complete freedom or responsibility. Many signals equals we're in a community, exciting and clear. Communication possible, not alone, potential allies or enemies, shared cosmic experience. One signal equals cosmic torture. Are we alone or not? Was it real or imagined? Should we respond to nothing? Are they gone or listening? Eternal uncertainty. The well signal put us in cosmic purgatory. We're not alone enough to be special, not connected enough to have friends. We're the kid who got one birthday card, but doesn't know who sent it and they never write again. The decision paralysis. The single signal creates impossible decisions. Do we respond? To what? Where? Do we stay quiet? Do we increase broadcasting? Attract attention? Do we hide? We're too late.
Without confirmation, we can't act. With one signal, we must consider acting. It's like hearing one footstep in your attic. Do you investigate, call police, or pretend you didn't hear it? The cosmic loneliness factor. The WOW signal introduced humanity to a new kind of loneliness, the loneliness of the almost contacted. Types of cosmic loneliness. Pre-WOW, innocent loneliness. Maybe we're alone, maybe we're not. Hopeful uncertainty, blissful ignorance. Post-WOW, informed loneliness. Someone might be there, they might have called. We couldn't answer, they haven't called back. It's the difference between being single and being ghosted, between solitude and rejection, between alone and abandoned. The WOW signal gave us just enough hope to make the silence afterward crushing. The ambiguous loss syndrome. Psychologists call it ambiguous loss, grief for something that might or might not be gone. The WOW signal gave humanity civilizational scale ambiguous loss. We're grieving the conversation that might have been, the contact we possibly missed, the civilization that might exist, the answer we'll never get. We're like someone whose ex sent one text, "Hey," then blocked us, forever. Wondering what they wanted, forever checking our phone, forever pathetic. The responsibility of being the only ones who heard it. If the WOW signal was alien communication, then a handful of humans in Ohio became the most important people in history, and they didn't even know it for 3 days. The weight on the witnesses. Jerry Ehman carries the burden of possibly being the first human to detect alien intelligence, the only human to document first contact, the guy who named humanity's biggest discovery WOW, forever associated with a mystery he can't solve. Imagine carrying that weight. Every interview, tell us about the signal. Every conference, could it have been aliens? Every day, knowing you might have heard aliens but can't prove it. The historical responsibility. Those involved had to preserve the evidence, original printouts are treasured, maintain scientific integrity, not claim aliens without proof, keep searching, decades of their lives, handle public interest, constant questions, accept uncertainty, maybe forever. They became involuntary guardians of humanity's maybe first contact, like finding possibly the Holy Grail, but it might also be a cup from medieval times. The generational duty. The responsibility extends beyond individuals. Ohio State kept Big Ear running despite budget cuts. SETI continues monitoring those coordinates. Every radio telescope checks periodically. The search continues because it must.
We have a civilizational duty to keep looking at those coordinates, not because we'll find anything, but because not looking means abandoning the possibility. It's like keeping a porch light on for someone who left 47 years ago. The curse of inconclusive evidence. Science depends on reproducible results. The wow signal is the opposite: irreproducible, unrepeatable, unverifiable. It's science's worst nightmare, evidence that can't be tested. The scientific paradox. Can't prove it was aliens? No repeat signal. Can't prove it wasn't? No natural explanation. Can't ignore it? Too significant. Can't study it? Nothing to study. Can't move on? What if? The wow signal is like Schrodinger's cat, but we can never open the box. It's simultaneously alien and not alien forever. Science hates that. Science wants answers. The wow signal gives only questions. The credibility problem. Scientists who study the wow signal risk being labeled UFO chasers, losing serious funding, career marginalization, peer mockery, wasting their careers on nothing. Yet not studying it risks missing humanity's biggest discovery, ignoring potential evidence, scientific neglect, historical shame. What if it was aliens? It's career Russian roulette. Study the wow signal and maybe waste your life, or maybe become the scientist who confirmed aliens. No pressure, no middle ground, no safety net. The philosophical implications. The wow signal forces us to confront uncomfortable philosophical questions. Question 1. What constitutes contact? Is one signal enough? Must communication be two-way? Does detection equal contact? Are we contacted if we can't respond? Question 2. What's our cosmic status? Are we the only ones who heard it? Does that make us special or irrelevant? Are we the galaxy's missed connection? Are we matter if nobody's listening? The wow signal exists in a quantum superposition of significance. It's either the most important thing that ever happened or completely meaningless, and we can't collapse that wave function. The eternal question mark. The wow signal's greatest curse isn't that it might have been aliens. It's that we'll never know for certain. We're condemned to eternal uncertainty. Future scenarios. We find the source. Unlikely after 47 years. We detect another signal. Validates the first. We develop new technology. Might explain it. We never know. Most likely. Humanity might go extinct never knowing if the wow signal was first contact or cosmic coincidence. Entire civilizations might rise and fall with this question unanswered. The mystery might outlive our species. The beautiful burden. But maybe that's the point. The wow signal gave humanity something we desperately needed. A mystery worth pursuing. A question worth asking. A reason to keep looking up. What the wow signal gave us. Purpose. To keep searching. Humility. We might have missed it. Hope. Someone might be there. Fear. We might be alone. Wonder. The universe still surprises us. The wow signal is a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and highest hopes. We see in it what we need to see. The lonely see proof we're alone. The hopeful see proof we're not. Scientists see a puzzle. Philosophers see meaning. Everyone sees themselves. The weight we carry. The wow signal isn't just 72 seconds of radio waves. It's 47 years of human psychology, philosophy, and perseverance compressed into 6 characters on computer paper. It's the weight of possibly missing humanity's most important phone call. We carry this weight because we must, because if it was aliens, we owe it to them and ourselves to keep listening. Because if it wasn't, we owe it to truth to find out what it was. Because either way, we owe it to the universe to pay attention. The wow signal made us cosmic adults. It showed us the universe might be trying to communicate, and we might be too primitive to understand. That's humbling. That's terrifying. That's beautiful. every night, radio telescopes point at those coordinates in Sagittarius, not because we expect to hear anything, but because not listening would mean giving up, and giving up would mean accepting we'll never know. The WOW signal isn't just an astronomical mystery, it's a test of human perseverance, a measure of our commitment to understanding our place in the universe. And after 47 years, we're still taking the test, still failing, still trying, still hoping that somewhere, something, someone is doing the same.
After 2.5 hours of dissecting the WOW signal like it's the Rosetta Stone of space, let's talk about what this cosmic ghost story actually taught us. Spoiler alert, we learned more about ourselves than about aliens. It's like therapy, but with radio telescopes and existential dread. How WOW changed SETI. Before the WOW signals, SETI was basically a handful of optimistic scientists pointing radio telescopes at space and hoping for the best. It was like fishing in the ocean with a teacup and expecting to catch a whale. After WOW, everything changed. Pre-WOW SETI, 1960 to 1977, budget, whatever loose change universities found, staff, part-time volunteers and grad students, equipment, borrowed telescope time, strategy, point and pray, credibility, those UFO weirdos. Post-WOW SETI, 1977 to present, budget, millions in private funding, staff, full-time scientists and engineers, equipment, dedicated facilities, strategy, systematic sky surveys. Credibility, still weird, but maybe onto something. The WOW signal transformed SETI from astronomy's embarrassing hobby into astronomy's slightly less embarrassing but better funded hobby. It's like your weird uncle's conspiracy theories suddenly getting venture capital funding. The legitimacy boost. The WOW signal gave SETI something it desperately needed, evidence that wasn't immediately dismissible. Not proof of aliens, but proof that weird signals exist and we should maybe pay attention. Before WOW, saying you worked in SETI was like saying you were a professional Bigfoot hunter. After WOW, it was more like saying you were a professional Bigfoot hunter who once found a really convincing footprint. Still weird, but intriguing. The funding revolution. The WOW signal opened wallets. NASA briefly funded SETI, 1978 to 1993. Paul Allen gave $30 million. Yuri Milner gave $100 million. Thousands of small donors emerged. Cryptocurrency bros started throwing Bitcoin at it. Nothing motivates rich people like the possibility of being the one to fund first contact. It's the ultimate legacy. Here lies Bob. He paid for the telescope that found aliens. Also, he invented an app or something. New protocols developed. The WOW signal taught us an important lesson. Have a plan before you maybe detect aliens. The chaos after WOW led to the development of actual, official, holy shit, we found aliens protocols. The Rio scale, 1999, developed because of WOW signal chaos. 0 to 10 scale of signal importance, considers signal type, discovery method, and distance, prevents premature we found aliens announcements, mostly prevents microwave oven incidents. The Rio scale is like a Richter scale for alien contact, except instead of measuring earthquakes that definitely happened, it measures signals that probably aren't aliens, but might be, unless they're microwaves. The Detection Verification Protocol. Step 1, detect interesting signal. Step 2, verify it's not equipment failure. Step 3, check if it's human-made interference. Step 4, attempt immediate reobservation. Step 5, alert other observatories. Step 6, continue monitoring. Step 7, analyze thoroughly before announcement. Step 8, still probably find out it's a microwave. Notice how immediately tweet about aliens isn't on the list? That's because of the WOW signal. Jerry Ehman's restrained WOW saved us from decades of aliens confirmed false headlines. The post-detection protocol. If we actually confirm aliens, 1. Notify International Astronomical Union. 2. Inform governments, quietly. 3. Prepare public announcement. 4. Coordinate global response. 5. Try not to panic. 6. Definitely panic anyway. 7. Update Twitter bio to found aliens. Technology improvements. The WOW signal hit us like a cosmic wake-up call. Our technology sucked. Big Ear couldn't track objects, recorded on paper, and analyze data days later. It's like trying to catch butterflies with a sledgehammer while blindfolded. What WOW taught us we needed. Real-time analysis. 1977, data analyzed days later. Now,
instant detection and alerts, AI systems scanning millions of channels, automatic verification protocols. Modern SETI can detect, analyze, and dismiss false signals faster than you can say it's probably not aliens, which is good because it's never aliens, except maybe that one time, which is why we keep looking. Multi-telescope coordination. The WOW signal's single-point detection problem led to global telescope networks, simultaneous observations, instant verification capability, and no more only one telescope saw it problems. The computing revolution. 1977 big ear computer, IBM 1130. Processing power, 0.003 MIPS. RAM, 32 kilobytes. Storage, magnetic tape. Output, dot matrix printer. 2024 SETI computers, processing power 1 million plus MIPS. RAM, terabytes. Storage, petabytes. Output, real-time global alerts. We've gone from the computational equivalent of an abacus to basically having Skynet looking for aliens. If the WOW signal happened today, we'd know instantly, verify globally, and still somehow blame it on someone's microwave. The ongoing search. The WOW signal turns SETI into a telescope, no matter where in the world they are.
Breakthrough Listen is like WOW signal revenge. We're going to listen so hard that if anyone broadcasts anything, anywhere, we'll hear it, unless it's a one-time 72-second signal. Then we're screwed again. Cosmic. Commensal open-source multi-mode interferometer cluster. Uses very large array. Searches while others observe. Parasitic SETI. Genius. Always looking, never controlling. Like SETI hitchhiking on real astronomy. Chinese fast telescope, 500-meter diameter, most sensitive radio telescope, dedicated SETI time, looking at WOW coordinates, still finding nothing. Statistical analysis of one-time events. Here's the nightmare scenario that keeps statisticians awake. How do you analyze something that happened once? It's like trying to determine if coin flips are random when you've only flipped it once and it landed on its edge. The one-time event problem. Statistical significance requires multiple observations. We have one. Reproducibility. Nope. Control groups. The entire universe? Null hypothesis testing. Everything is null. The WOW signal breaks statistics. It's a single data point trying to prove a hypothesis. It's like claiming you can fly based on that dream you had once. Except the dream was recorded by scientific equipment and still can't be explained. The Bayesian approach. Prior probability, aliens exist, unknown. Evidence, WOW signal, ambiguous. Posterior probability, still unknown, but slightly different unknown. Bayesian analysis of the WOW signal basically concludes maybe aliens exist slightly more than we thought before, unless they don't, in which case they still don't, but if they do, this might be evidence, unless it's not. Very helpful. Much clarity. Wow. The simulation problem. Scientists have run millions of simulations. If aliens broadcast randomly, should see more signals. If aliens broadcast rarely, lucky to see one. If aliens broadcast once, impossibly lucky. If no aliens, what was WOW? Every simulation either makes the WOW signal more unlikely or aliens more likely. There's no comfortable middle ground. It's like the universe is forcing us to choose between impossible coincidence and uncomfortable truth. Why we might never know. Here's the existential gut punch. We might never know what the WOW signal was. Not because we'll stop looking, but because the universe is too big, time is too long, and we're too small. The temporal prison. We can only observe the present. Can't go back to 1977. Can't replay the signal. Can't improve old observations. Can't undo our 3-day delay. Time travel would solve the WOW signal mystery, but then we'd have bigger problems like paradoxes and accidentally becoming our own grandfather. The universe really doesn't want us to have nice things. The spatial problem. Space is stupidly big. Observable universe is 93 billion light-years diameter. Our search coverage? Basically nothing. Like searching Pacific Ocean with a thimble.
while blindfolded, at night, for something that might not exist. The needle in a cosmic haystack. Jill Tarter's famous analogy. If the search space is Earth's oceans, we've examined one glass of water, found nothing except wow. Concluded ocean is empty. We've searched approximately 0.0000000000001% of the possible signal space. That's like checking one atom in your body for cancer and declaring yourself healthy. Technically correct, but probably missing something. The technology barrier. We might be using the wrong tools. Looking for radio when aliens use gravity waves. Listening for AM when they're using quantum. It's like looking for smoke signals in the age of email. Maybe aliens communicate via neutrinos or dark matter or dimensions we haven't discovered. We're looking for drums in the jungle while they're texting in 5G we can't perceive. The civilization mismatch. Timescales don't align. Human civilization, 10,000 years. Radio technology, 100 years. SETI, 60 years. Cosmic time, billions of years. We've been listening for 60 years out of 13.8 billion. That's like checking your phone for texts during 1 millisecond of your life and concluding nobody loves you, which might be true, but you can't know from 1 millisecond. What we've actually learned. Despite not solving the mystery, the WOW signal taught us valuable lessons. Lesson 1, we're not prepared. No real-time detection in 1977, no immediate follow-up capability, no global coordination, no agreed protocols. We fixed some of this. Lesson 2, the universe is weirder than expected. Unexplained signals exist. Natural doesn't mean understood. Artificial doesn't mean aliens. Weird doesn't mean important. Important doesn't mean solvable. The universe is basically a cosmic troll, sending us signals we can't explain just to watch us argue about them for decades. It's working. Lesson 3, one-time events are nightmares. Science needs reproducibility. The universe doesn't care. Some things happen once. We might miss everything important. Sleep tight. The paradox of progress. Here's the weird part. The better our technology gets, the less likely we are to find another WOW signal, but the more likely we are to find what caused it. Why we won't find another WOW? Because better coverage means instant verification. Global networks prevent single-point detection. Real-time analysis catches everything. No more 3-day delays. Mystery requires missing data. Why we might solve WOW? Because new technology might explain old signals. Better understanding of natural phenomena. Quantum sensors might detect new properties. AI might find patterns we missed. The WOW signal might be the last great mystery of radio astronomy. Everything after will be explained immediately or verified globally. WOW exists in the sweet spot of being detected but not understood, recorded but not reproducible. The institutional knowledge. The WOW signal created institutional knowledge that persists. What every SETI scientist knows? Check for interference first, verify with multiple telescopes, don't cry alien immediately, document everything, expect disappointment, keep looking anyway. The WOW signal is SETI's founding trauma. Every search is compared to it. Every detection is measured against it. Every failure is contextualized by it. It's the ghost that haunts radio astronomy. The eternal search. So what have we learned? We've learned that the universe can surprise us, that 72 seconds can define decades, that mystery is more powerful than answers, that we are barely capable of detecting what might be out there. We've learned that we need better technology. We're building it. We need better protocols. We've developed them. We need more coverage. We're expanding. We need patience. We're trying. We might never know. We're accepting that. The WOW signal taught us humility. It showed us that for all our technology and intelligence, we can be reduced to writing WOW on a printout because we have no better words for the universe's mysteries. And maybe that's enough. Maybe the lesson isn't to solve every mystery, but to acknowledge they exist, to keep looking despite uncertainty, to maintain wonder in an age of answers. The WOW signal changed SETI from a search for answers into an acceptance of questions, and that might be the most important thing we've learned. We haven't found aliens, but we found that we're capable of looking. And for a species that only recently figured out radio waves exist, that's not nothing. That's wow.
We're over 120 minutes into discussing 72 seconds from 1977, which is the kind of time management that would make productivity gurus weep. But here's the thing. The WOW signal isn't just about the past. It's about the future. A future where we might actually be equipped to catch signals instead of letting them slip through our primitive fingers like cosmic water. New telescopes coming online. If the WOW signal happened with 1977 technology, basically 2 tin cans and some string by today's standards, imagine what we'll detect with the telescopic monsters currently being built. It's like upgrading from a magnifying glass to the Hubble while also taking LSD. The Vera Rubin Observatory, first light 2025, 8.4-meter mirror, photographs entire visible sky every 3 nights, processes 20 terabytes of data per night. It will catalog 20 billion galaxies, might accidentally find aliens while doing real science. The Vera Rubin Observatory is so powerful it could detect a cell phone on Mars. Not that there are cell phones on Mars, that we know of, yet, unless Elon gets there first. The Extremely Large Telescope, ELT, 2028. Mirror diameter, 39 meters. That's not a typo. Can directly image exoplanet atmospheres, could detect city lights on nearby planets, might see biosignatures, and definitely compensating for something. The ELT is so large that if ancient humans had built it, we'd assume aliens helped. It's the kind of telescope that makes the Hubble look like a toy you'd get in a cereal box. If there's a welcome to Earth sign near Alpha Centauri, this thing will read it. The Next Generation Very Large Array, NGVLA 2030s, 263 antennas across North America, 10 times more sensitive than current VLA, can detect airport radar from 100 light-years away, will monitor WOW signal coordinates continuously because we're obsessed and can't let go. The NGVLA will be so sensitive it could detect a cell phone. You know what? Forget the cell phone analogies. It could detect an alien thinking really hard about radio waves. That's barely an exaggeration. AI and machine learning in signal detection. Here's where things get scary exciting. We're teaching machines to look for aliens because apparently humans are too slow, too biased, and too likely to mistake microwave ovens for first contact. Current AI capabilities. Analyzes millions of signals per second, learns what normal looks like, flags anomalies humans miss, never gets tired, never needs coffee, never accidentally detects lunch. Machine learning algorithms have already found signals human researchers missed. In 2023, AI reviewing old green bank data found 8 previously undetected signal candidates. They are all interference, but still, the robots are better at this than we are. The neural network advantage. Traditional detection. Is this narrowband? Is it moving? Is it repeating? AI detection. This 47-dimensional pattern in the data suggests a 0.0003% probability of being artificial based on 500 million training examples. The AI doesn't care if it finds aliens. It has no ego, no career to protect, no Twitter account to update. It just processes data with the emotional investment of a toaster making toast, which might be exactly what we need. The scary part. AI might detect signals we don't understand, patterns too complex for humans, correlations across time and frequency we can't see, signals hidden in what looks like noise, communications we can't recognize as communications. We might have already detected dozens of alien signals that our human brains can't recognize as signals. The AI might find them and be like, oh yeah, these have been in your data for decades. You humans are adorable but incompetent. The Square Kilometre Array, the game changer. If current radio telescopes are ears, The Square Kilometre Array is like growing 1,000 years, giving them superhuman hearing and spreading them across 2 continents. It's the telescope equivalent of achieving enlightenment, if enlightenment was really expensive and took decades to build. SKA statistics that break brains. Collecting area, 1 square kilometer, hence the name. Data rate, 7.5 terabytes per second. More data in one day than the entire internet in 2024. Sensitivity, 50 times better than any current telescope. Can detect airport radar from 10,000 light years away. The SKA will be so sensitive it could detect the heat from a human body on Mars. It could hear a whisper from Alpha Centauri. It could probably detect alien anxiety about being discovered. What SKA means for SETI: monitor millions of stars simultaneously, detect signals 50 times weaker than WOW, real-time analysis of the entire galaxy. If aliens are broadcasting, we'll hear them. If we don't hear them, they're not broadcasting. The complete sky coverage. For the first time, we'll monitor northern sky from South Africa, southern sky from Australia, all frequencies from 50 megahertz to 20 gigahertz, continuously, forever. The SKA will end the excuse of "we're barely looking." We'll be looking at everything, all the time, with sensitivity that borders on paranoid. If we don't find signals with the SKA, we need to seriously consider either nobody's transmitting or physics hates us. Breakthrough Listen's expanded search. Remember Breakthrough Listen, the $100 million project that's found exactly 0 aliens but dozens of microwave ovens? They're not giving up. They're doubling down like a gambler who's already lost their house but still has a kidney to bet.
The expansion plan, 2024 to 2034. Target 1 million to 10 million stars, add optical SETI, looking for laser signals, monitor entire galactic plane, include nearby galaxies, go big or go home, partnership with SKA when operational. Breakthrough Listen is basically saying, fine universe, you want to play hard to get? We'll listen to everything, every star, every frequency, every moment. You can't hide from us forever, unless you can, which you probably can. The data tsunami. Breakthrough Listen 2.0 will generate 100 petabytes per year, requiring 10,000 GPUs for processing, using more electricity than a small city, all to find signals that probably aren't there, but might be. At some point, the electricity used to search for aliens will generate enough carbon emissions to make Earth uninhabitable, and the aliens will be like, problem solved itself. What happens if we detect another WOW? Let's say tomorrow at 3:47 a.m., a telescope detects another WOW signal. Narrowband, right frequency, from deep space, unexplainable. What happens? I'll tell you what happens. Organized chaos with a side of pants-wetting terror. Hour 1, detection. AI flags anomaly. Automatic verification protocols engage. Multiple telescopes slew to position. Someone calls their supervisor at 3 a.m. Supervisor says, very funny, and hangs up. They call back. Hours 2 through 6, verification hell. Check for satellites, none. Check for interference, negative. Check for equipment malfunction, all good. Check for that damn microwave, unplugged. Signal still there. Heavy breathing intensifies. By hour 6, word has leaked, not publicly, but within the astronomy community. Every radio telescope on Earth is pointing at the same spot. The signal is real, it's continuing, and it's definitely not natural. Hour 6 to 24, the protocol. International Astronomical Union notified. Government agencies informed. Panic. Media lockdown attempted, fails immediately. Twitter explodes with rumors. Reddit solves/ruins everything. And your mom calls asking if aliens are real. Day 2 through 7, global freakout. United Nations convenes emergency session. Stock markets crash, then soar, then crash. Religious leaders issue conflicting statements. Scientists plead for calm. Nobody's calm. Alien memes achieve sentience. The detection protocol assumes humans will react rationally to confirmed alien signals. This is adorable. Humans don't react rationally to running out of chicken nuggets. Aliens will break us. Preparing for contact we might have already had. Here's the mindfuck nobody wants to discuss. What if the WOW signal was first contact,
and we already failed. The scenarios we're preparing for. Scenario 1, they're waiting for our response. Wow was their hello. They're waiting for our hello back. It's been 47 years. They think we're rude or dead. Preparing response, sorry, we were in a meeting. Scenario 2, we failed the test. Wow was an intelligence test. Immediate response required, we failed. Earth marked as not ready. Preparing, can we take the test? Imagine aliens maintaining a spreadsheet of civilizations. Earth's row. Send signal 1977, no response. Intelligence, questionable. Notes, probably extinct or stupid. The response dilemma. Scientists are actually preparing messages in case we need to respond. Mathematical proofs, universal language. Music, apparently aliens love Bach. Images of Earth, our Tinder profile. DNA sequences, oversharing much. Memes, honestly, why not? We're preparing to slide into the cosmic DMs with, hey, sorry we missed your call 50 years ago. Earth here, you up? Send nudes of your planet. The transformative moment approaching. The next 10 years will either solve the WOW signal mystery or deepen it. We'll either find signals everywhere or confirm we're cosmically alone. Either option is terrifying. By 2035, we'll have SKA fully operational, AI analyzing everything, complete sky coverage, sensitivity to detect airport radar across the galaxy. No more excuses. If we find nothing, we're alone or everyone's hiding. If we find something, everything changes. If we find lots, we're the cosmic Amish. We're approaching a threshold. Soon, we're barely looking won't be true. We'll be looking at everything with technology that borders on magic. If the universe has signals to offer, we'll find them. The preparation paradox. Narrator, we're simultaneously preparing for never finding anything, depressing, finding ancient signals from dead civilizations, more depressing, active contact with advanced civilizations, terrifying, discovering we're in the cosmic zoo, humiliating, learning the WOW signal was aliens saying goodbye, heartbreaking. We're basically preparing for every possible cosmic therapy session. How does it make you feel that aliens exist but won't talk to you? How does it make you feel that you're alone? How does it make you feel that you missed their call? The technological singularity of SETI. SETI technology is improving exponentially. 1977, one telescope, paper printout. 2024, global networks AI analysis. 2035, SKA plus quantum sensors plus AI. 2045, probably just ask the aliens directly. At this rate, by 2050, we'll either have found aliens or built technology so advanced we become the aliens other civilizations detect. The future of SETI isn't just about better telescopes. It's about fundamentally transforming how we listen to the universe. We're going from pressing our ear against the cosmic door to installing surveillance equipment that would make the NSA jealous. The eternal questions future. The WOW signal started our journey. It showed us something was possible. Now we're building the tools to finish what Jerry Ehman started when he wrote 3 letters on a printout. In the next decade, we'll either solve the WOW signal mystery, find new mysteries, confirm our cosmic isolation, make contact, or all of the above simultaneously. The future of SETI is bright. Literally, we're pointing more photon collectors at space than ever before. The WOW signal might remain unique, or it might become the first of thousands. Either way, we're not stopping. Because somewhere out there, 650 years ago or yesterday, someone or something might be broadcasting. And this time, we'll be ready. Unless it's another 72-second signal that never repeats, then we're screwed again. But at least we'll detect it in real time and be confused faster. Progress. 2 hours ago, we started with 72 seconds of radio waves detected on a hot August night in 1977. Now, after dissecting every theory, every possibility, every conspiracy, and every philosophical implication, we're left exactly where we started, with a cosmic question mark that refuses to become a period. Summarizing all possibilities. So what was the WOW signal? Let's spin the wheel of cosmic possibilities one last time. Natural phenomenon, a type of cosmic event we've never seen before or since.
The universe's one-night stand with physics. Human interference. The most elaborate accidental false positive in history, somehow creating a perfect celestial signal pattern from Earth. Alien beacon. Deliberate communication from an extraterrestrial civilization, our first and only detected hello from the cosmos. Accidental transmission. We eavesdropped on alien technology, like accidentally hearing someone's phone call through a baby monitor, except cosmic. Time travelers. Future humans sending a message back. Still doesn't explain why they chose 1977 and why they were so cryptic. Something else. An option we haven't thought of because we're too primitive to conceive it. After 47 years, thousands of hours of observation, and millions of dollars spent, the honest answer is, we don't know. And that might be the most important answer of all. The impact on humanity regardless of origin. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what the WOW signal was. What matters is what it did to us. It changed our species in ways we're still processing. Before WOW, searching for alien life was science fiction. After WOW, it became science fact with a mysterious footnote. The signal gave us something we desperately needed. Evidence that the universe could still surprise us. The WOW signal proved that we don't know everything, that mystery still exists, that in an age where we've mapped the human genome, split the atom, and invented machines that think, the universe can still make us write wow, because we have no better words. Why 72 seconds changed everything. 72 seconds. That's how long it takes to microwave popcorn, to walk to your mailbox and back, to have a brief, forgettable conversation. But these 72 seconds, they've haunted us for nearly half a century. Those 72 seconds did what centuries of philosophy couldn't. They made the possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence real, not theoretical, not hypothetical, real. Detected, documented, undeniable. Even if the WOW signal was natural, it proved that we could detect something that looked exactly like alien communication. It showed us what to look for. It turned an abstract search into a concrete goal. It transformed SETI from what if to what now. The signal that won't let us go. Why can't we let go of the WOW signal? Why, after 47 years of silence, do we still point telescopes at those coordinates in Sagittarius? Because the WOW signal is perfect in its imperfection. It's evidence without proof, mystery without solution, question without answer. It exists in the quantum superposition of being simultaneously the most important discovery in human history and completely meaningless. We're like cosmic archaeologists who found one perfect artifact that shouldn't exist, can't be explained, and will never be found again. Do we build entire careers around it, question everything we thought we knew, or pretend it doesn't exist? We've chosen all three simultaneously. The WOW signal forces us to confront our cosmic significance or insignificance. If it was aliens, we're not alone, but we're too primitive to maintain conversation. If it was natural, we're so ignorant about the universe that we can't recognize basic phenomena. Either way, we're cosmically humbled. We're children who found what might be a letter from adults we can't see, written in a language we don't understand, delivered once and never again. But here's what makes humanity beautiful. We kept the letter, we've studied every mark, every curve, every possible meaning. We've built better eyes to look for more letters. We've never stopped hoping for another message. And now the thought that should haunt you forever. What if the WOW signal was our chance and we missed it? What if it was a civilization reaching out, once, to see if anyone was listening? What if they waited for a response that never came? What if they concluded Earth was dead, or empty, or not worth the effort? What if right now, in some distant corner of our galaxy, there's a civilization marking Earth as attempted contact, no response, in their cosmic database? What if we're already classified as a failed contact, and we don't even know it? 3 days. That's how long the signal sat on paper before human eyes saw it. 3 days when we could have been responding, could have been confirming, could have been making history. Instead, it sat on a printout in Ohio while humanity remained oblivious. The WOW signal isn't just 72 seconds of radio waves. It's 47 years of questions. It's humanity's eternal reminder that the universe is bigger, stranger, and more mysterious than we can comprehend. It's proof that we might not be alone, delivered in a whisper we barely heard and can't understand. Every night, somewhere on Earth, a radio telescope points at those coordinates. Not because we expect to hear anything. Hope has nothing to do with expectation. We listen because the alternative, not listening, means giving up on the possibility that someone, somewhere, once tried to say hello.
The wow signal remains what it was on August 15th, 1977. An unanswered question from the cosmos. A question that asks not, is anyone there, but is anyone listening? For 72 seconds in 1977, something in the universe spoke. We're still trying to answer. We always will. The wow signal remains unexplained. We're still listening. We'll always be listening.